Hey, in the immortal words of Judy Brown, happiness is a choice. And we're happy you are joining us on a off the rails Tuesday, if you will. Chip and Zay. And there we go. Now we got some order in the court. All right. Had to work through some technical issues. On with the show. Zay, we saw some midnight basketball last night. That was awful. Jalen Swain, come on, man. Got to make them free throws. Could have had that game put out of reach. Dunsky goes to the line, final seconds, misses both. And then old boy from Arizona State who could not miss nails the three. Arizona State goes up 1. Texas has 10 seconds left. And my man Tremont Mark is trying to get into something and he slips on the, wet spot on the floor or something. And that was that. Texas loses by 1 after leading for a lot of that game. Zay, what did you think?
I thought it was a very disappointing showing from a team that, as you said, Chip, had that game won. First of all, to Tremont Mark's slip, Maui, we're really cutting corners here with all them sponsors that I see out on that very just garden-y court that they have. They have these kids using towels during every fall. Like, these kids don't look more than 10, 11 years old, which, okay, but technology has grown to where they have those broom sticky things that you see in the pros and that you see at Texas games. You know what I'm talking about? Looks like a broom. You sweep it. It's a circle. Yeah, it's basically stick 'em, not towels. This ain't 1993, man. Like, and plus they're kids and they're hustling and stuff. They know they're on TV. They're trying to get out of the way. So how good of a job are they doing? So I noticed that early. I was like, man, I hope that's not a problem, because they were talking about that all day. Like, they were talking about every game, how guys were slipping and falling and stuff like that. And it's like, well, maybe because we have children trying to wipe up these wet spots, which, hey, give them something to do, responsibility. Like, that's a cool gig. It's been done for years and years and years. I know that. I'm not putting the blame on the loss on the children. I'm just saying I noticed that. Moving on, Sean Miller, man, you got to be thinking the worst in clutch time. And people are be asking, what do you mean, Zay, thinking the worst? Because obviously you want to be positive and stuff. Yes, you tell your team the positive stuff. But in reality, you have to be thinking the worst. What am I going to do if Jalen Swain misses these free throws? How are we going to go about this? Because that's how my mind works. And you have 15 coaches. That's how their mind should be working. And a lot of that has to do with the flow of the game, Chip. The flow of the game was Mo Odom killing you. That's the flow of the game. So going back to the free throws, I'm Sean Miller. Before Jalen Swain even goes to the line, I am thinking, if he misses these 2 free throws, where do we need to go? First off, you need to have specific plays on defense where if you shout them out, whether it's vocally or a signal, your team knows how to execute that. Red, red, black, black, blue, blue, for example. Each color should describe different defensive schemes. Again, Odom has 33 points He's 5 for 11 from 3. He's the only reason why this game's close. So if Dalen Swain, who just missed free throws, but we don't know that yet, keep in mind, this is before he misses the free throws. I'm telling my guys when he's on the line, hey, we're going to call whatever color means double team the on-ball screen, especially if it's Odom. Double team it. Only if it's Odom. Double team it. And we'll live with the rest of the results. If whatever the hell the boy's name, Pig Johnson, number 2, if he makes the game winner, whatever. So be it. Yeah, it's going to suck. You shouldn't put yourself in that situation, but I'd rather have anyone on Arizona State besides Mo Odom taking that shot. It's a bad move to keep the ball in his hands. So Dalen Swain misses the free throws. Now, Bobby Hurley, being a smart coach, he knows that, okay, these guys, I'm just going to give it to my best player and see what happens. I'm not going to call a timeout. I'm not going to make it more than what it is while Sean Miller's out here calling timeouts. We know who the ball should go to. If you're Bobby Hurley, it should go to your best player that has 33 points. The game is simple, man. So he doesn't call a timeout. Dalen Swain's guarding him after he just smoked 2 free throws. So his mind's all over the place, which I feel like that's a reason why Sean Miller didn't give him the ball for game. We'll get to that in a second. But don't let Dalen Swain leave Mo Odom. Don't let it happen because they should be doubling him coming off the screen. For some reason, he switched and let Cam Heide take him. So now if you're Mo Odom, your eyes light up because you know you got a lesser defender guarding you. And psychologically, for a true hooper from freaking the Bronx like Mo Odom is, oh my gosh, we're going right back to that 30-degree weather that he grew up in, where he was playing outside in the project parks, where he was killing dudes during his upbringing. And that's what it was. You need to double that. Double that. It's simple, for sure. Miller. You've seen enough ball to know a guy has 33. Get the ball out of his hands. And again, good coaches mess up. Jerry Sloan should have double-teamed MJ when he took the ball from Karl Malone, Game 6, 98. We're double-teaming Mike. Mike stood at half court for like 4 seconds before he did something. Why aren't you sending Jeff Hornacek at him? Why aren't you sending John Stockton at him? Instead, you leave Brian Russell on the greatest player of all time who's hit a billion freaking jumpers and clutch one-on-one. So, again, good coaches mess up too. Jerry Sloan, one of the best. God bless his soul. But still, Sean Miller, you got to read the room, man. You got to understand. And again, your coaching staff, what are they doing? Are they hungover off pina coladas because you've been in Maui for the last few days? Because that's just unacceptable in my opinion. There is no way I am letting Mo Odom get off a shot. There's just no way. Somebody else has to beat me. Somebody else has to beat me. It is a must. So Mo Odom hits the shot. You messed up there. Dalen Swain is 10 for 14 shooting. Yes, he just missed the free throws. As a good coach, you should say, hey, Dalen, you're about to hit the game winner, and we ain't even going to remember those missed free throws you have. Go to him. He has an advantage. He's been getting to the paint nonstop all game long. Tremont Mark is not in a rhythm, and it showed. It showed. So it doesn't make any sense why you would first call a timeout to let the defense set up, and then you don't go to your hot hand because he missed some free throws. If that's your excuse, then if I'm Dalen Swain, I'm like, man, coach doesn't believe in me. Clearly he doesn't. And I get Tremont Mark. He had the game winner against A&M, so he's done it before. But also read the room. Understand the flow of the game, man. You got to. Sean Miller was awful that last minute. He was awful. And Bobby Hurley, hey, let me just put the ball in my best player's hands and tell him to go make us a play. He did that. That's why Arizona State won and Texas lost.
Yeah. No, it's well said. Very well said. Couldn't have said it better myself. I was like, what is Dalen Swain doing? Because Cam Heidi's fighting to get over the top of the screen, and he fought. I mean, he tried to get there, but why on earth would you leave Odom? That's the one guy that's been killing you.
The one guy.
I would live with any other guy shooting the ball, not him.
Yeah. And I'm very animated today because I'm up till 1 a.m. watching this BS.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's not like it's an early game. Like,
Started late.
I'm grumpy as shit because I didn't get much sleep last night. Yeah. What are we doing, Sean Miller? Come on, man. Come on. And the fouls weren't good. The refs weren't good. But you got to adjust. You got to adjust to how the game's called. There's multiple plays where Texas they were doing dumb things. Messina Traore, he's making a screen, setting an on-ball screen. His man, the guy coming off the screen with the ball, doesn't rub off of him. That's how you get a good screen. The guy sat still. He can't move. You got to go off that screen tight. That didn't happen. So Traore felt obligated. He has to get contact because that's what these coaches coach. So he sticks his leg out. Offensive foul, go on the other end. Mathis, 7 foot. You're 7 foot. You need to quit doing all this arm stuff. It drives me crazy. Somebody needs to get with him and say, dude, use your body. The more you use your arms, they're going to call that. You're 7 foot. You stick out. You're easy to notice, bruh. I'm sorry. That's just how it is. You got to use your body and not your arms. He uses his arms. They call fouls on it. That's his fault. There's a play where Dalen Swain, he has a wide open player on the corner. He turns the corner. There's a dude waiting on him for like 2 seconds, taking a charge. Instead of stopping and shooting the floater or kicking it out, he just runs over him. Dumb basketball.
Yeah, and they're still not looking for Cam Heidi. But we'll get back to that in a second. Yeah. Let's normally we have Lance Taylor on Thursdays. But because it is Thanksgiving week, we're going to wish him a happy Thanksgiving and thank him for joining us on an Off the Rails Tuesday. Our SEC insider and prognosticator at lanceslock.com. LT, how you doing?
Hey, boys. Happy Thanksgiving. A little early on the, I guess, abbreviated appearance, whatever. But happy Thanksgiving. My favorite day of the year.
Yeah, tell me why.
I just look, I think we've all got dysfunctional families. I didn't have like the tightest unit growing up. That was one of the few times that I saw people from the family, and the food is amazing and football is such a center of it. And it's not as chaotic as Christmas. I don't know, just always really, really enjoyed Thanksgiving. It's a little different though, the older you get, and you get a divorce and you split time. It's like the split squad and spring training. So it's, it's not the same, but you still manufacture and make it work. And I'm just a big fan.
Yeah. I can feel you there, my brother. Well, let's get to it because, it is rivalry week, and it's so much better than last week when you have it's tomato can week. Let's start with Texas A&M. What's your sense going into this one?
The strange thing is I do think Art just kind of figured out. I mean, obviously coming off his best game as a Texas Longhorn this past week, and that was a dominant performance, and in what could have been a dangerous game. Arkansas's defense is awful. It is interesting. Texas is giving up a lot of yards right now. I still trust Texas' defense more than I do A&M. I have doubted A&M through 11 games. And I still don't know if Marcel Reed, and again, this is contradicting myself because he did it in South Bend, controversial calls down the stretch, but he found a way to lead them down and win. So I don't know why I continue to doubt them. I've just got a feeling Texas is going to win this game. And I could see there be some chaos in the top 15 this week. And, where Texas can maybe even campaign at 9-3 and get us in. I don't think there's any chance they get in unless we've got like major chaos. But I think Texas, with Arch playing with a lot of confidence, if they can keep, the one thing about A&M's defense that is really good is the pass rush. If they can keep them off of Arch, which seems like they've gone to, quicker hitters, Sarkaz, I like Texas in this spot. I don't know how Texas fans feel about this, but I do like Texas.
Yeah, Lance, going back to his Alabama days, what do you remember most about Kyle Flood? And he wasn't there long in Tuscaloosa, but that's been the main problem for this offense for Texas this year. They haven't been able to establish any type of run game, and it's because of all just the chaos that's been going on with the offensive line. And a lot of people, Texas fans, are trying to have Kyle Flood's head. Your thoughts on Kyle Flood and this offensive line for Texas?
Yeah, he was one of the many offensive line coaches. It started with Joe Pendry under Nick Saban and Kyle Flood. Mario Cristobal was one of those guys. They never got the scrutiny that, it's hard to ask me that question because Nick Saban won every game by like 50 points. And, literally, it sounds stupid, but that one loss every year would get so dissected. Even the wins, like, man, why are we not running this when we're up 21? And normally it really was. It was normally Brian Dable taking some drive-bys as the offensive coordinator. The defensive coordinator that was taking a little heat, Tosh Lapoy, maybe.
Pete Golding.
Yeah, Pete Golding. And Pete Golding's probably doing his best work right now for Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. But, yeah, it was some of those guys. So you never really heard anything about Kyle Flood. Always heard he was a good recruiter and good, solid coach. But, that was kind of it. But, yeah, Texas can't run the football. And, at least Arch is building confidence. I don't know. I guess we point to next year, and I assume Arch will be back. And, this will be maybe – not the expectation that Texas had this year, but it'll be more realistic next year for Texas to compete for a championship.
Yeah. What about the Iron Bowl?
Well, Alabama's won 5 straight in this. I think everybody's ass is really tight if you're an Alabama fan because Jordan here. I heard somebody ask Kalen DeBoer about what did they call it? I guess they called it the graveyard. I call it Pet Cemetery. So I guess it's kind of the same thing. Crazy shit happens in Jordan here, especially these night games that they're not supposed to be in. This number is so low. I think it finally ticked up to Alabama 6, but I'm really surprised it came under a touchdown. But you've got an interim coach in DJ Durkin that's going to probably throw out everything imaginable. And the offense over the last couple of weeks, 100 points. Over 1,000 total yards of offense. Now, one of those games was against Mercer. But I think Auburn's playing with confidence. They're playing loose. They do get bowl eligible with the win here over Alabama, but everything is on the line for Alabama, obviously, for this to sum up as a disastrous season. Alabama fans were really upset about the 9-3 last year and the 28-3 loss to Oklahoma in November. If Alabama loses 2 of their final 3 games in the regular season to get bounced and not make a college football playoff in his second year, I am telling you, and it's not fair, but he will lose the fan base. And, I don't know how long that lasts. He's not going to lose his job. There is speculation. There's a flirtation right now with DeBoer and Penn State. And I think on Penn State's side, I think there is an attraction there. Whether or not Kalen DeBoer would take that job for, a program that fired their coach in season, just went to the semifinals and the playoffs. The expectations aren't far apart. But, I've heard that Kalen DeBoer's family might not be the happiest in Tuscaloosa. Again, I don't know how legitimate that is, but, if he was to go 9-3, it gets real. And I think this is a really difficult game for Alabama. I think, they've got the much more talented roster. I think they've got the better coaching staff. I think they've got the much better quarterback. But in these Iron Bowls, weird things happen. And I've just got a weird feeling that this might not be Alabama's year. Starting to think Auburn's going to win this game, but could be completely wrong on that.
Wow. Maybe this is upset Saturday.
I mean, can you imagine this? You guys think about this. Ole Miss loses to Mississippi State with the shenanigans and the circus going on around Lane Kiffin with Mississippi State. You know, maybe the most improved unit in football is Mississippi State's offense. Like me. Oklahoma to LSU would be a little more surprising, but Oklahoma's offense is that bad. You know, you make one or two bad plays, one or two turnovers with LSU's defense, they could win that game. I mean, you would have some serious chaos if, you know, 2 or 3 of those happen. And, you know, it's a possibility. And, you know, we're a couple of plays away from this thing looking like A&M Alabama to this thing being Georgia Ole Miss in the SEC championship game. So, you know, this weekend could be wild. And, you know, when we used to be in the BCS days, you guys remember this. I remember those final Saturdays championship weekend where 3 or 4 games would go completely unexpected. And the 2 teams you thought you had locked in, you had, you know, teams coming back as far as like 5, 6, and 7 playing for the national championship. So I think we're going to get a little chaos this weekend. I really do.
Yeah. What would you say has quote unquote gone wrong for Alabama? Because there was one point where they looked like the best team in the nation. And then the Oklahoma game happened, and now there's just all this doubt. And now we're hearing DeBoer possibly going to state college. Like, I know this is college football, but damn, man, how can you go from being that high to that low within a couple of weeks?
Well, look, the defense is still playing great today. They almost doubled up Oklahoma yardage wise, but, you know, they had 3 turnovers, and Ty wasn't turning the football over and had multiple turnovers this past week against Eastern Illinois. Now, one of those turnovers that Kalen DeBoer pointed out was a Hail Mary at the end of the half. But with all that said, they're still turning the football over right now. So, and Alabama was leading the SEC in turnover margin just a couple of weeks ago. And the defense has been great, but, you know, there's not a lot of balance on that offense, you know, unable to effectively run the football against quality opponents. And then when you turn it over, that becomes a problem. And then there's a hint out there that maybe Ty is a little tweaked up. Not 100% right now. I spoke to somebody today that feel like that could be legitimate, that, you know, he's got a little issue, but we'll see. But it's not been whole. And so I think when you get into these situations where now it's a 1-game elimination for Alabama, it's just gotten really real for Alabama fans. Like, I don't think 3 weeks ago, there's no way they expected to be in this situation. They just didn't. They figured, you know, as a touchdown favorite at home against Oklahoma, you win that game, and it doesn't really matter what happens in the Iron Bowl. And that's what's weird about this. Like, Kalen DeBoer has always been a good pressure coach. But I do think if they would have beaten Oklahoma, I think they probably win this game by 21 plus. But because it's this elimination situation and that Auburn crowd is going to be so juiced, it's going to be a snake pit Saturday night in Jordan-Hare. And I don't know. I just don't think it lines up well for Alabama.
All right. So Georgia Tech, you don't see any trouble there for Georgia. What about Vandy at Tennessee?
Well, we know Diego is a confident guy, right? He said yesterday that he is the best player in college football. I do think at this point, I've got no problem with him being a Heisman finalist. You know, I think right now Mendoza probably wins it. If a lot of people are going to hold their votes, which, you know, not a humble brag here, I will hold mine until after I see all the championship games, because I want to see what Mendoza does against that Ohio State defense. Not that, you know, I'm putting all chips on the table for that one performance, but, you know, if he goes out there and, you know, puts up numbers against that Ohio State defense, and I think it's kind of a done deal on who should win the Heisman. I think Jeremiah Love might be best player in college football, but I think Pavia is right there. So he's playing with a lot of confidence. That offense, I know it's not a great Kentucky defense, but boy, they look good last week. And I think with them playing loose, and, you know, it's going to be difficult. They're going to need help, you know, even at 10-2 to get to this college football playoff. But first thing they got to do is take care of business in Neyland, and I kind of got a feeling they're going to beat Tennessee. We'll see what happens there, but I think it makes it that much more interesting, because at that point, all it takes for Vanderbilt is, you know, Alabama or Oklahoma to lose, and they should be in at that point. And even an Ole Miss loss mean, we've talked about this scenario, and I don't know if you guys have gotten into it, but if Ole Miss is to drop a game here at the end of the year, you saw Alabama lose to a top 10 Oklahoma. They dropped 6 spots. You saw Texas lose to a top 5 Georgia. They dropped 7 spots. If Ole Miss loses to an unranked Mississippi State sitting at number 6 right now, they drop 8, 9 spots. And then you find out the committee hears that Lane Kiffin's not going to coach these guys. I don't know how you put Ole Miss in.
Yeah. Speaking of Lane Kiffin, what do you think is going to happen with his situation? A lot of people are saying LSU's basically a done deal. A lot of people are saying he might not even know right now. It depends on what happens at the Egg Bowl. Your thoughts on that, Lance?
This is such a weird situation. I mean, obviously the college football calendar is jacked up. We all know that. So it's a delicate situation, how you're going to handle being courted by these other jobs when your team is squarely in the college football playoff. I've always said, years ago, people were like, Dabo's going to come back home to Alabama. And I was always under the belief of why, like he's created something in Clemson that's never been done before. Lane's really got that opportunity too. This is, in my lifetime, the best Ole Miss team I've ever seen. I don't think they're great, but they're about to accomplish or should accomplish something that no Ole Miss team has ever been able to do. I mean, again, they're one loss in front of them away from getting to Atlanta for the first time ever. They're about to get to their first college football playoff ever if they win this game. And he can make as much money at Ole Miss as he can anywhere. They've got a commitment to the NIL. If I was advising Lane Kiffin, I would tell him to stay. I don't know if that ship has sailed. The only thing that would be saving grace at this particular point, and I don't know why you'd want to go to LSU right now, as great as that job has been in the past, you've got an administration that doesn't want to pay Brian Kelly. They're looking for with cause. You fired him because you didn't think he was good enough to win. That's the reason you fired him. If Lane Kiffin wants to go there, look, they're going to be able to find with calls on Kiffin. I would assume at some point you can find with calls with a lot of people, but I don't know why you would want to go to a program right now where the governor is getting involved in the search and they don't want to pay their full buyouts. They're looking a way to skimp on that when you're already a rock star in Oxford and again, making the same money. And in today's transfer portal NIL world, Kirk Cignetti has an opportunity to win a national championship in Indiana this year. Like that wasn't flukish. So I think if you establish the right culture and you start paying the right guys, you can win a national championship in Oxford. I never thought I would say that until the last couple of years, but it's legitimate. So I don't know why he would leave, but if he leaves, I think so much damage has been done. He's not going to be able to coach. And I think it's unfair to the players and it's unfair to the fans, but I think that's kind of where we are. And I don't think without Lane Kiffin, I don't think there's any chance that they can win a national championship.
Yeah. How much time you got? Are we up against it?
I got 5 to 8 more. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Any other, possible upset alerts?
Yeah. Like, Oregon. Oregon's not that good of a team. I think they exerted a lot of energy last week against USC. Now they're playing a Washington squad where they've had Washington problems. I mean, Lanning is one of the more confident coaches out there and had the number 1 overall seed last year. And I think, this is kind of a redemption tour. I just don't trust their offense. I knew they would be able to effectively run the football against USC, and I really liked them against USC last week. And SC did turn it over multiple times. And Maeva hasn't been the same quarterback at home than he has been on the road. But this is kind of a dangerous Washington squad. And, the number is single digits now. And I could see Oregon lose that game. The benefit they've got for them is I don't see Michigan beating Ohio State. That's a whole nother level of problems for Ryan Day if he was to lose that one. But if Michigan wins, obviously they're in the college football playoff because they're going to play for the Big Ten championship and they're not going to leave them out there. But I think it is interesting with Oregon because Oregon really at that point wouldn't have a quality win. I mean, their best win is at home against USC.
Right.
Yeah. So like a 2-loss, I mean, to me, a 3-loss Texas is right there with a 2-loss Oregon. You're not going to be able to tell Big Ten fans that because, they think their conference is better than the SEC right now. They have won back-to-back national championships. Depth of the conference, totally different though. But I think it gets a little interesting there with Oregon if they were to drop that second game.
Yeah. You don't think Michigan can beat Ohio State? If they do, why do you think it happens?
Yeah, well, look, if Justice Haynes was still healthy, Zay, I would give him a fighting shot. Their obviously identity is running the football. Bryce Underwood, I think, is ultimately going to be really, really good. He's just still raw, and Ohio State hasn't been tested. So, much like Alabama has got to be sweating bullets. If Ohio State gets into a close game in the second half, I think it could become a problem. And, one of my favorite, if not favorite analysts, Joel Klatt, joins us every Monday. He'll be on that call. And he said all Michigan wants to do is keep it close into the fourth quarter. And then they believe they can win this game. And, I do wonder how different the coaching gets and the calls get. And Ryan Day, and I asked the question, like, all the equity he built winning a national championship, how much is lost if he loses again to Michigan? And he said all of it. And I don't think he was kidding. Like, and Chip, you've lived that rivalry before. They hate each other. And Michigan fans, much like Auburn fans, would love just to give them a loss. But, Michigan's playing for a little bit more. Again, they win that game. They're in the Big Ten championship. I don't know how, because I don't think they're very good. I think their defense is still pretty legitimate. But I just don't see a path to victory. But Julian Sayan's first game, the game, and with the track record, I guess it's possible.
Yeah, and it's in the big house. So, Julian's saying, I don't know, he hasn't really encountered a tough road environment this year.
Honestly, I love all this chaos. I think I told you guys last week 2 weeks ago, without Alabama losing to Oklahoma, the Iron Bowl, really, there's nothing there. I love how tense this whole week has been already and how much more tense it's going to be. I would love to see Ohio State lose that game just because, they're still going to be number 2 or 3 nationally. And it's just going to be a complete come apart. So I want the chaos. I want Oklahoma losing to LSU. I would just love to see what the committee. Now, I do want the committee to have to decide 10-2 Miami, 10-2 Notre Dame. At that point, I would love to see a 3-loss Oklahoma with a 3-loss Texas. Oklahoma's dead and buried. There's nothing you can do at that point. But I'd like to put a lot of this back in the committee's hands and see how they handle a 2-loss Ole Miss without a Lane Kiffin. Because, in my opinion, Lane Kiffin has done the damage there, and I don't think they would get in, but I could be wrong. And I'd love to see a 2-loss Vanderbilt get in. Like, everybody assumes Vanderbilt's got no shot. If they beat Tennessee and a couple of things happen in front, I think Vanderbilt will get in. And it's much like when Charles Woodson won the Heisman. Everybody agreed Peyton Manning deserved it, but somebody wanted to see a defensive player or two-way player win the Heisman, and that's why he got the votes. I think there's some committee members that are like, Vanderbilt in a college football playoff? Vanderbilt and Indiana in a college football playoff? Like, that's insane.
Yeah. Are the Rams the best team in the NFL right now?
I've said it for weeks, Chip. They are the best team on the planet. I had a chance to go to SoFi last week. I think we talked about that. I've got a chance to go to Charlotte this week to watch them play the Panthers. I don't know if I'm going to do that yet, but Matthew Stafford, 27 consecutive touchdowns without an interception. It's been since summer, the last time he's thrown an interception. I'm looking for wood in the car right now to knock on. They're a really, really good team. I have said this, and I'm coming up on, it'll soon be 50 years of fandom. I've said it out loud, middle of season 3 times, that they are the best team on the planet. I said it in 99. They won the Super Bowl for the first time. I said it in 2001. They were 13-point favorites in Super Bowl 36, and they lost to Tom Brady en route to his first championship. And I'm saying it this year. They are the best team in football. Whether that holds, we shall see. They got 6 more games. They're going to be favored in 5 of those 6, probably a short dog in Seattle. But if they take care of business, Sean McVay will accomplish something he's never accomplished before. 2 things. He'll have an MVP in Matt Stafford for the first time, and he will have home field advantage throughout the NFC playoffs. So I can't be more excited about this season. So it's been a fun ride.
Yeah, no, I hope we see a Lions-Rams playoff game. Lions got to get into the playoffs. They're not even in it. All right, tell everybody what's going on at lanceslock.com.
A lot of college hoops. This Eras tournament going on right now in Vegas, wall to wall. We've got games up and available right now. Free play every single day. We've been killing that free play. We've been killing it this fall. Jump on board, win with us. NFL, college football, college basketball, NBA, everything's up and available. Lance'sLock.com, where you get that free play each and every day. We are there for you to win. Let's get it all Thanksgiving weekend.
All right, LT, you're the best. Happy Thanksgiving, my man. We'll talk next week.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, boys, and let's get some chaos out there. Let's have something fun.
Get it. Let's get it.
See you guys.
Yeah, everybody.
Appreciate you, LT.
Thanks, LT. Everybody head over to Lance'sLock.com for the picks. He's on fire. And Zay, he sees chaos. Now, hard to tell if he is just wanting to see chaos but he feels like Texas has, and here's the thing. I've been looking at this every which way, Texas and Texas A&M. And Texas A&M has had their good moments and they've had their bad moments. And sometimes it's in the same game. I mean, Marcel Reed only completed 44% of his passes against Notre Dame, but he completed the one that mattered on 4th and goal for the game winner against South Carolina. He's turning it over every which way, missing passes all over the place in the first half. They're down 30-3, and then he plays the best football of his life in the second half. That was their last game against a quality opponent. And then they played 1-11 Samford and beat the dog out of them. And now they're coming to Austin to face a Texas team that has some questions on the defensive side, but A&M's defense has given up points too. 42 points they gave up to Arkansas. Obviously they gave up 40 to Notre Dame. And they gave up more than 30. Well, they gave up 30 to South Carolina. So this game to me is there for the taking. And Arch is playing his best football. And Sark sounds confident as a play caller. So those are, and surely your defense is not going to play that bad again. Right?
I hope. I mean, yeah, I would hope so. They're starting to make a lot of changes that I didn't see coming. We talked about it yesterday. Cade Phillips getting the start against Arkansas. Are they going to be that confident to give the freshman the start against a top 5 wide receiver duo? Maybe a top 5 wide receiver trio. If you talk about Bethel Roman, like those guys could fly. And it's really easy for Marcel Reed because when you're playing with guys like that, they're number 3 in the nation in yards after catch. So there's a lot of short, intermediate stuff. And you look at Marcel Reed's stats, but he's just getting the ball there accurately. Casey Concepcion, Mario Craver, them fools doing the rest. Go watch Mario Craver's touchdown against Notre Dame. It's insane. The dude should have been tackled like 50 yards back from the goal line where he scored. Like, it's nuts, these guys, man. They're slippery. They're tougher than you think. They're athletic. Sometimes Marcel Reed just throw that crap up where they're not even open, but Craver and Concepcion just go out and make a play and Malsa MFA. Marcel Reed, you're right. He could be shaky. And again, just the times that he's had success, he wasn't doing that much. But that's why Colin Klein is good, because he's not asking him to do too much. And they've put the right guys around him. And Marcel Reed, when it comes to play action, he's money because their run game is solid. And they got like 6 backs they could throw out there and be productive. Hell, Emmitt Smith's son, he barely even get clocked, but when he does, he's pretty good. Like, them jeans Apple don't fall too far from the tree with that one. So you got Emmitt Smith's son as like your fourth guy. Yeah, they're not one-dimensional. They make you think. They make you guess. They have so many different options. 87 and 17, the tight ends, those guys are problems in different moments of the game. So, yeah, you got to keep pressure on Marcel Reed. And the secondary, they can't be conservative. That's on Pete Kwiatkowski, Dwayne Aquina, Mark Orfe, Kanote.
Don't help me, God.
Like, they can't be passive. They can't be timid. I don't care who's out there. Like, if you don't trust them now, then you'll never trust them. Like, it's the last game of the year. I know you got a bowl game coming up, but come on now. You got to trust these guys and let them hang.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so sick and tired of the soft coverage, the off coverage, the prevent on 3rd and 20, 4th and 19 they gave up to Vanderbilt trying to play prevent. I'm sick of it. This team sucks at prevent defense. This team sucks at off coverage. You need to keep this team aggressive because that's what this team does best. You need to send early heat against Marcel Reed. I said they needed to do that against Georgia. They didn't do it. Gunnar Stockton got into a rhythm. Ball game. You need to get after Marcel Reed. Look, A&M's trying to be like, oh, the pressure's not on us. We can take a loss and still be in the college football playoff. Okay, tell yourself whatever you need to tell yourself, but you're the undefeated team, and you're the team that has everything in front of you. Texas has next to nothing in front of them except to make it 2 in a row, 3 in a row over A&M. And that's enough in this rivalry. So you gotta keep the pressure on Marcel Reed, because if he's turning the ball over like he was against South Carolina, A&M's defense was not good enough to play sudden change against South Carolina. They converted all 3 turnovers into 17 points. So, look, A&M's defense, yes, they have a good pass rush. Cassius Howell, don't be calling those slow developing, deep balls. Get the ball out of Arch's hands like you've been doing. Throw those, quick glance routes, because you got chemistry going now with all your receivers. That's good. I would take Quintravian Wisner for a test drive because that dude is an animal in big games. The last 2 rivalry games Texas played in, he was the offensive MVP, and you didn't even really let him get started against Georgia or Arkansas. So, yeah, Pete Kwiatkowski, your team sucks at prevent defense. It cost you a national championship, and it nearly cost you the Vanderbilt game. And good heavens, it cost you points in the Arkansas game. That's ridiculous. So, yeah, bring the heat. Keep bringing the heat. Be smart about it. I mean, you can zone dog. You can, blitz guys and drop other guys into coverage, but good heavens, this whole thing, Brad Spence 20 yards downfield.
Yeah, when they need 20 yards, like it'll be 3rd and 15, and they'll have the corners back 15 yards. 15 yards.
Play a normal down of defense. Trust your guys. Golly. I mean, it's giving up plays like that when they're out of sorts that causes their confidence to drop. Yeah. They've been giving up those plays. I mean, 4th and 19 they gave up against Vanderbilt from their own 2.
Yeah, that was bad.
That was awful. Yeah, and then 3rd and 20 against Arkansas, and Brad Spence, everybody's running 20 yards backwards. 2 guys rushing. Taylor, or whoever he was.
KJ Jackson.
KJ Jackson sitting back there like, oh, who do I want to hit with this? It's like ridiculous. You're third. Now Oklahoma and A&M have passed you in sacks because you're doing stupid stuff like play prevent defense on 3rd and 20 and 4th and 19, and then giving up that booty. That's
Giving
ridiculous.
up that booty. Can't give up that booty, man. You got to protect the booty.
Yeah, man.
Come on.
Can't give up that booty. But, man.
Hell no.
I had a coach call me today and say, I think Texas wins this thing by double digits.
Man, okay, coach.
I'm like, wow. Okay. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you look at what A&M has done and what win blows your doors off. Notre Dame, obviously. That was early in the season. Good for them. Everyone's, they beat Notre Dame at Notre Dame. And then they beat Auburn, Mississippi State, Florida, Arkansas, LSU, Missouri. I mean, they literally have beaten up the worst teams in the SEC this year. And that's great. You can only play the teams on your schedule. And going into the season, people thought LSU was going to be good. People thought LSU was going to be good. Maybe thought Missouri would be better than they were, but it all worked out. They got the freshman quarterback against Missouri in Columbia. That kid was terrible. He was 7 of 22 passing. LSU fired their coach. So I think A&M still has stuff to prove, but I think they've also played very well and they've handled their business. So
they played all 4 schools that fired their coach in the SEC this year. They played all 4 of them, and we're in battles. Like, okay. So that's where I'm hanging my hat on, and that's why I feel good about Texas. Just because they just haven't seen nobody. They figured it out. They got guys like York. York's a dog. That dude could play. 27-2, what's his name? Sanford. Those guys, that's a solid linebacker core. Ratcliffe, free safety, number 3, can hit. We know Will Lee's good. Like, we know they got dudes. But, man, that schedule ain't doing them no favors. And like I said yesterday, that pressure, we saw Dalen Swain miss those free throws. Sometimes, guys, as good as you are, when that pressure hits, all that stuff that you were taught goes out the window because, man, why are my fingers so slippery? I'm starting to sweat in places I've never sweat before. What the hell? I'm sweating in my toes.
So that toe sweat.
My kneecap's sweating. I didn't even know this was a thing. Yeah, that's what pressure could do for you, the nerves. So even though the Aggies are in the college football playoff, wow, that pressure, Mike Elko, all those guys feeling it. The kicker, we rang off the kicker stats yesterday. They ain't good. Don't let them have to make a meaningful kick or get the opportunity to do so.
So apparently Mike Elko told reporters going into the Samford game that Randy Bond was still the kicker. And then in the Samford game, he trotted out Jared Zirkle.
That away, coach.
And Zirkle missed a 36-yarder against
that away.
Samford.
That away, coach.
So he don't know who his kicker is.
That's a good sign.
That's a good sign, man. Because if it's a field goal game, let it all come down to Zirkle or Bond, baby.
Yeah.
Let's see how they handle it.
That's a great sign, man.
That's you gotta keep that one front and center.
By the way, I see Will Stone. He's promoting the hell out of himself on social media, talking about which kicker, which team wants me, and putting out his stats and TikTok videos. I thought it was a redshirt year. I didn't know he was gone.
Oh yeah, he's gone.
Damn. Like they gotta go find one next year, 2026, because Mason Shipley, he got a family to raise. You know, you gotta see what that LinkedIn account looking like. They need another kicker. But
yeah,
Will Stone, he promoting the hell out of himself. I was like, damn, man.
How about Lance Taylor talking about what's going on at Alabama? You know, Kalen DeBoer is a good coach. He's a good coach. But if Kalen DeBoer's family is not happy in Tuscaloosa, like they don't feel like they can go outside or walk around or live their life, that's no way to go through life.
Oh, man. Think about where he came from. You came from Seattle. A lot of beautiful, young, tech-savvy, just very intelligent, coffee flowing everywhere people.
Yeah, football is not live and die up there.
It's not. A lot more to do for your family, a lot just more ways to get away. You know what I'm saying? Tuscaloosa, this is all they have.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
That's all they got. The whole state. And it's not necessarily close to anything big. I feel like Atlanta's like 5 hours away. That's it. Everything else is country. So, yeah, it's going to be a culture shift for sure. And if you're not ready for it, poor family. And your husband / father is just getting killed all the time. Like, always going to be in the shadow of the GOAT. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, think about the pressure on that game. Alabama at Auburn. You got DJ Durkin. I mean, Auburn's played good defense. They had A&M in trouble in College Station. A&M had to score a touchdown in the fourth quarter to win that game. 16-10. Bama coming off this loss to OU. Man, Jordan Hare. Lance calls it the pet cemetery. Where crazy things come to life and kill you. That'd be crazy if Kalen DeBoer went to Penn State. But
that buyout, was Penn State down to pay that? Because they fired Frank.
Maybe it could. Maybe it's could be arranged with a mutual parting of ways.
That's true.
If that's what's going to make everybody happy, then who's Alabama go get? How about that? Nick Saban would be apoplectic if that happened.
What you mean? That's his guy.
What you mean? It's not his guy. He kicked him out. Soon as Lane took that Florida Atlantic job, Nick was like, go on. He put Sark in as the play caller for a national championship game. Yeah. And Bama lost to Clemson. So that would be nutso. That'd be nutso.
I mean,
is that what we're in for? Is that what we're in for this weekend, Zay?
I heard people are saying Lane might not even know. Depends on the Egg Bowl. Trinidad Chambliss, he had to go out and tweet that they're locked in, that they're not distracted, to keep Ole Miss fans sane. He felt obligated that he had to reach out as the quarterback. Whatever's going on with our coach ain't got nothing to do with us. We're locked in. We know we're going to the college football playoff. That's not going to mess up our goals. All right, Trinidad, that's what a quarterback should be doing. I like that.
That's right. QB1.
Your coach being real slutty, in my opinion. He flirting with everybody, just getting around.
I got to give it to him, man. People are guessing because his wife, she's Florida. I mean, LSU scares me, man. I'm all about alignment. I saw Texas come apart with no alignment after the nightmare hire of Steve Patterson. who was hired solely to fire Mac Brown and then did not fire Mac Brown. The big money guys, everybody was coming apart at the seams, and it was miserable. That led to the Charlie Strong, Tom Herman years, the lost decade. And man, look at the alignment now. Texas goes and hires UCLA's national championship women's soccer coach. Just rolls up and is like, yeah, we out. You know? Because UCLA doesn't have the money. Texas probably doubled her salary.
Yeah, not for no soccer.
Right, not for no soccer.
And the Big Ten, so she has to go play Rutgers. You got to make that 5-hour flight to play some soccer, and you ain't getting paid. And when you get back, you got to sit in 2 hours of LA traffic. Hell to the gnaw. Come on down to the ATX, coach.
Yeah.
Come on down. Yeah, that was easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was easy for CDC.
Yeah.
And because that's, yeah, UCLA, I don't know. Why would you take UCLA for any job? And I'm talking basketball too. Like those kids, usually it used to be you got all of the best players in Los Angeles. That's not the case anymore.
Yeah.
Those guys are now going to SC more than not. Like with Musclemen and them, like SC these last few years, they got.
Or they're going to Texas.
Yeah, Texas. They going everywhere. They're not staying home.
Yeah.
So, yeah, UCLA
yeah, so,
gig.
Man, I wouldn't go to LSU. I love LSU. And I think Lane is talking about putting Orgeron on his staff.
I feel that. That's a good move.
And LSU, which fired Orgeron, I think would be kind of excited to have Big Edo back on campus.
Yeah, as an assistant?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they could talk about girls together and blondes and look through all the Instagram beauties and stuff. And yeah, that's how their bonded would be. They relate that way.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, Ed could be focused on that. And he doesn't have to worry about the responsibility of being the CEO anymore. And you need guys that know that culture, and that Orgeron has proven that he does. So, yeah, I don't know, man.
Okay, better
special place.
Better chance of an upset. Ole Miss at Mississippi State. Bama at Auburn. Texas A&M at Texas.
Texas A&M at Texas. I think that's the biggest upset possibility.
Mississippi State's offense is dangerous.
They are.
Especially at home. And this game is in Starkville.
Are they playing the brother now? The backup? Is Blake Shapen? Did they sit him?
Let me see.
Because I like that brother. He's got some upside.
Yeah.
Like he is straight from Mississippi. Why are you laughing?
What you mean? What is wrong with you?
Saying that in a positive way, like he has been just born to go to a school in state. Like there's a certain pride, you know what I mean, that comes with those guys. Them, you know, those kids that are from the state. There's just a certain pride. That
Camario Taylor?
Yeah.
From Macon, Mississippi?
Exactly. It's all he knows. He's been waiting for this moment his whole life. Yeah. To put on for his family.
Looks like he was let me look at that box score against Missouri. He was 4 of 5 passing. Blake Shapen started the game, but Camario finished it. So I don't know. And Camario was 4 of 5 passing with a touchdown. Shapen was 19 of 33, 2 interceptions, no touchdowns.
See, I don't know, Jeff. Old Jeff Lebby. Think about next year, Jeff Lebby. You're not just thinking about this year. I know you got to win this game. This is big for him. But my man could come in and make some plays, give him some confidence. You know what's supposed to, no one's picking them to win the game anyway. Oh, Hell State. So put in the
give
guy.
Blake Shapen. I give him one series.
One series, exactly. You nicer than me.
Short leash.
I'll tell Blake, yo, Blake, we appreciate your time. You got your NIL money. It was cool. We won a couple games, but we got to go with the future, dog.
Got to go with the future.
I'm speculating. I feel like that's the same conversation Sark had with Jalen Gilbo and Kay Phillips. Like, yo, man, we love what you brought to the program. We were there when you got hurt. You were solid for us at the star position last year. You had some decent moments this year. Yep, Souls, you already know. But the freshman, he's taller, he's longer, a little quicker. We gonna have him for the next 2 years. You about to graduate. Those are difficult conversations. Sark's talked about it. He says, hey, sometimes we just gotta have difficult conversations and we gotta make difficult decisions.
Oh, yeah, it's happening.
Hey, it's happening.
I mean, Jonah Williams is out there. Derek Williams ain't out there.
See,
I mean, Xavier Filsmy's out there. Derek Williams ain't out there.
What happened?
I know.
What happened? Where did the just – and you never know, was Derek Williams a Blake Gideon dude? Because those are things that you have to consider when there's coaching changes. Everybody just thinks the train is going to keep moving straight. That's not realistic. Not everybody's going to be cool with the changes. Not everybody's going to be able to relate to the coaches coming in, and it's just going to work. And again, I'm speculating. These are assumptions. I have no idea what's going on, but for Derek Williams to take steps back for how good he was his freshman year, I get getting hurt, and maybe that's it. Maybe he just still hasn't been able to recover from that gruesome knee injury that he suffered in 2024. But I didn't expect him to be getting replaced like this.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Jordan Johnson Rebel has moved to linebacker. Yeah, he's a thumper. He's a thumper. So
how much weight he gained?
I don't think the weights are accurate, but I bet he's like 210 and could probably get to 225 by next season. But he's a thumper. We'll see. It's a late season experiment. Remember, they looked at Michael Terry at running back, and he's kind of back at receiver,
Yeah, Ryan Niblett, they don't know what to do with him still.
Yeah.
They still don't know what to do with Ryan Niblett, which I don't understand why
he's the modern day DJ Monroe. Remember DJ Monroe? Lightning fast, small. Mac could never figure out a way to get him the ball. Just couldn't figure out a way. It's bananas. Like Silas Bolden, that dude, little, fast, throw him the ball, he catches it, and he's gone. That dude was so tough. I love that dude. He's on a practice squad right now, I think. Maybe the Jets, but
Bill Snyder used to get Sproles? What's my name? Sproles used to get the rock all the time.
Yeah, and then Sproles played in the league forever.
You could do it. It's possible. And they were hitting a lot harder back then than they are now.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. So, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, who do you think Ole Miss wins that?
Yeah, I do.
And then Georgia, 14.5-point favorite. They're playing in the Mercedes-Benz Dome. Like Georgia Tech gave up Bobby Dodd. They give up their home field. That's and
Why
Georgia
do they
Tech.
do that? Do they have no choice?
I think they got financial incentive.
Oh yeah, they got no choice. They got to do it.
And I feel bad for Blake Gideon because Georgia Tech's defense has been giving it up. Like they were a one-loss team, and now, they lost to Pitt, and that opened the door for my SMU Mustangs. Those Mustangs just got to go out to Cal, who just fired their coach, which is always a little dicey. But SMU's a 13.5-point favorite. Just come on, don't play with your food. Get it done.
Mm-mm.
Get into Strawberry Canyon. Get out of there.
Nope. I need Arkansas and Auburn to hit up Rhett Lashley 3 hours before the game even starts. Rhett, what you doing? Hey.
Yeah. Texas fans want SMU to lose.
Hey, Rhett, man, we going to get you on the flight tomorrow.
Texas fans want everybody in the ACC to lose. They want Miami to lose. Miami? Who's Miami? Miami's playing at Pitt. If Miami loses and SMU loses, ain't nobody from the ACC going to be in the college football playoff. Like nobody. Like Tulane or South Florida or Memphis, whoever the hell. James Madison. Those teams are all going to be ahead of the ACC champion. But come on, SMU. Let's even if you win the ACC championship, and can you imagine winning the ACC championship and still not being high enough ranked by the committee to get into the playoff?
Be better. That's all I got to say.
Be better, he says.
Be better.
Hey.
Dabo, Mario, Rhett, be better.
Hey, SMU's only lost one conference game in 2 years. And it was to freaking Wake Forest after Wake Forest tried to give you the game and you gave it back to them. That was terrible.
Yeah. ACC are the laughingstock of college football.
Oh.
ACC, with what Bill Belichick has done to the conference.
Florida State put out a statement saying, we're retaining Mike Norvell. Florida State fans are like,
why?
What? I'm like, he led you to an undefeated regular season 2 years ago.
Mm. Yeah.
People, short memories, man.
Yeah.
I mean, think about what Lance said about Kalen DeBoer. Kalen DeBoer. If Kalen DeBoer loses to Auburn 9-3, he loses the fan base. At 9-3, he loses the fan base. Hey, Alabama. Hey, Nick Saban ain't coming through that door.
That's all they had.
This is the age of NIL and the transfer portal. Even Nick Saban didn't want to mess with the NIL and the transfer portal.
Hey, he's lucky Nate Oates is doing a little something, because if Nate Oates and Alabama basketball was trash too, it'd be so much worse.
Hey, it don't last forever.
No.
Bear Bryant, good years. Mike Shula, Mike DeBose, and Dennis Franchione, those were some lean years. And then old Nick came through, St. Nick. That was the best. 17 years of glory. 6 national championships. Ain't nobody going to do that again.
Yeah.
So, Bama, this could be a rough weekend for you.
I hope it is.
If they lose and DeBoer goes to Penn State, hey, their athletic director, Greg Byrne, that guy's going to be like,
yeah,
I am retiring immediately.
It's a tough
man.
Gig. It's a tough gig. Like, hey,
tough gig.
It's Saban's fault. Shouldn't have done all that winning. Now the expectations just so unrealistic.
Yeah, we talked to Lance about that. I'm like, Lance, you do realize you've been in a bubble for the last 17 years. Like, you've been in you know that the Good Witch and Wizard of Oz, she floats around in that bubble. That's where Alabama's been. Like, not even realistic, fantasy land. And it was great. It was great. That's how Lance and his co-host developed their show into a monster,
Yeah.
because they were covering Alabama football.
Oh, yeah.
Nick Saban. Amazing. That dude was bringing it. Look, think of all the coaches. Mario Cristobal was an offensive line coach for Nick Saban. Brian Daboll, who was the head coach of the Giants, was an offensive coordinator for Nick Saban. Bill O'Brien, who coached the Tech. I mean, man.
Yeah.
I'm just
Jimbo at one time. You know,
saying,
it's crazy.
man. All right, let me get a mention in here for my guys who are snoring. Hey, how about for Christmas this season, you get with the Sleep Cycle Center and our guy, Dr. Chad Denman. Because if you're snoring, it's more than just annoying to the person next to you. It could be the sign of a serious health issue called sleep apnea, which is a lack of oxygen while you're sleeping. Think about that for a second. You're gasping for air. That's what wakes you up. That's scary, folks, but because you're tired, you don't even really think about it. You need to think about it. Our guy, Dr. Chad Denman, started the Sleep Cycle Centers, dedicated his life to treating sleep apnea because it killed his own father at the age of 60. And our great partnership, Texas Sports Unfiltered, with the Sleep Cycle Center of Austin, it's too good to pass up right now, guys. You got to take care of yourself. And all you got to do is go to sleepcyclecenters.com. Tell them Texas Sports Unfiltered sent you, and they're going to take $100 off your sleep study. Practically give it away. And you're going to get all the answers. If you have sleep apnea, you're going to know exactly what degree, and then you're going to have the best treatment options, including oral appliances like I have, a mouth guard that holds my lower jaw open so that I get that oxygen when I'm sleeping and I get deep sleep, good sleep. I wake up, I'm rested. Unlike Zay, who's all pissed off because he had to stay up all night watching a Texas basketball loss that could have been avoided. So just go to sleepcyclecenters.com and tell them Texas Sports Unfiltered sent you. And hey, when you're ready for the big screen of your dreams, there's only one number to call in Austin, Texas. One man to call, and that is Tom McKay. Tom McKay, he has been the king of audio-visual in Austin for 37 years. He has put big screens and surround sound in all your favorite restaurants. He's put them in 3 different houses for me in my time in Austin. He's going to bring you the best price on big screens. So you don't need to sweat it this Black Friday, trying to elbow people out of the way so you can get to some big screen. Just call 255-8678. 255-8678 and let Tom and his crew bring everything to you. Whether you're, ready for a full-blown new media room, or just the big screen with some surround sound, or maybe surveillance, electronic shades, new lighting, Tom can do it all. Just call 255-8678. Tom and his crew are going to bring everything to you. All right. Zay, I think this is going to be a bananas weekend. I'm not going to go crazy on upset Saturday, but I think there are going to be some upsets on Friday and Saturday. And, Ohio State at Michigan. Ohio State. Look at Ohio State. Where have they had to go that is a tough place to play? I mean, Illinois? That was it.
Yeah.
That's it. I think Michigan's okay. They had to go to Washington. All right. I got you. They had to go to Washington, but that Washington team's not very good. They had to go to Illinois. They had to go to Wisconsin. They had to go to Purdue. What's the combined record of those teams? You know what I mean? This is a different deal going to Michigan. Now, I get it. Michigan's star running back is out, and that's no good. But I don't know. You feeling any upsets?
Not gonna lie, not really. Not optimistic as you are at all. But
so you think Bama beats Auburn? You think Tennessee beats Vanderbilt? You think OU handles LSU no problem? Oregon handles Washington?
I mean, Tennessee's considered an upset if they beat Vanderbilt based on the rankings, but talent-wise, we know that wouldn't be that much of an upset. And Tennessee's favored, so that's definitely no upset. But yeah, man, it seems real chalky, which unfortunately for Texas, that's a killer.
I mean, Texas needs a lottery ticket. I mean, they would need anarchy this weekend for Texas to get in. But stranger things have happened. I think it's interesting. I did have a coach call me and say Texas is in trouble because their defense is not playing well enough to handle, A&M. Because A&M, it looks like Reuben Owens is going to play, so they should have a running game. Marcel Reed. That's why I'm like, if your pass defense is coming apart, you've got to apply pressure. Because when Mississippi State was killing you, how would you get back in that game? You started blitzing. Like, sometimes coaches, I don't know, it's like they forget what got you back. And Mississippi State stopped blitzing. Those two factors right there allowed Texas to get back into that game. I don't get it. Kwiatkowski, if I'm Sark, I'm like, hey, PK, we're bringing it this week. We're not playing off coverage. When we rush 4, we're playing tight coverage, and we're bringing the heat. So get your best pressure packages together, because here we go. We're not going to get beat in our own house by the undefeated Aggies not throwing our best punches. Like, come on, man.
Yeah. Again, I don't understand it either, but the coaching staff, or at least Sark, he made it known that there's guys that he just doesn't trust in this secondary, and that's unfortunate, but that's on them. Like, why don't you trust them? Why isn't your coaching good enough in January, February, March, etc., to make the process further along than what it is? What happened in those summer months where you're developing guys, but clearly not enough to where you get to the last game of the season and you're talking about not trusting them? Because in my opinion, this is the time where you should trust them the most.
Right.
The last game of the year. You
Right.
should be trusting these guys because you've been with them every freaking day.
Right.
They've
You should
heard
know
terminology.
you should know your players inside and out at this point.
Yeah.
You should know exactly who you are. You should know exactly what you do well, the things you got to hide. And there are times it seems like these coaches don't even know who this team is.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Sark's starting to feel confident in Arch in the passing game, obviously. I mean, you just can't forget about Quintravian Wisner in big games.
Yeah, he's going to have to be big, man, especially like in the flats, the checkdowns, where he could be valuable if that run game and, they plug up them holes and stuff. Get on the outside. Like, you got to make guys miss. And to A&M, they play a lot of man. Like Mike Elko, he gives his cornerbacks, talk about trust. He trusts his cornerbacks to play a lot of man and just straight up say, hey, I think y'all are better than their wide receivers. Y'all go out and guard. So Parker Livingston, Emmett Mosley the fifth, Ryan Wingo, DeAndre Moore, hey, this is the game where a lot of y'all can make some coin because you're just going to have to beat your man and win your rep. And the team that does that the most, they're going to come out victorious. And a lot of that's up to that chess match game that Sark is playing with Mike Elko. Same on the other side with Colin Klein and Pete Kwiatkowski. Like, who's going to have the advantage coaching-wise, and how is that going to look once this game is played? Because we saw against Georgia, we saw who got out-coached in that game. So you don't want to, get to 11 o'clock at night and feel like you got out-coached, Steve Sarkisian, because your guys weren't prepared and y'all weren't ready for everything that could be thrown at you. Go back and watch that Missouri game against A&M. They ran a fake punt, Chip. Got a good game. It was like 4th and 3. They were already up by double digits. This was in the second half. Fake punt. Keep the chains moving. End up scoring. Completely took the life out of Missouri. Just like that onside kick completely took the life out of Texas against Georgia. You got to be ready for everything, man. And again, just in the game like this where anything can happen, who's going to make more plays?
Yeah. Jeff Traylor did an onside kick against Texas a few years ago. Gotta have a little something. Gotta have a little wrinkle. Yeah. Last week it was the Philly special to Arch Manning. So what's Sark got up his sleeves this week? Let's see.
Yeah. And I gotta watch Texas basketball played Chaminade tonight. Good grief. Oh my God, the Texas basketball team. I just Chaminade, you're going all the way to Hawaii to play Chaminade?
That's the thing about this Maui tournament is if you lose and you are in the losers bracket, A, you play every game in the middle of the night, and B, you play scrubalicious teams. Like Chaminade?
Chaminade doesn't even have stats. Like I tried to go look at their stats and stuff. They don't have it. I think they're D2 still. I don't think they're D1. I don't know who they play, what their conference is, but like there's a reason why they play in that small ass gym. That it's iconic. Like Maui's an iconic event, even though it's definitely lost its luster. But man, they should win by 30 tonight.
Okay, let's talk about the turnovers. So Texas wins the rebound battle again. They won the second chance points 17-10. They won the paint points 46-30. They won the fast break points 23-4. They even had 10 assists. And they led in the game for 30 minutes. And they shot 55%. And they lost. They lost. They had 19 turnovers. 3 turnovers by Swain, 4 turnovers by Vokatitis, 5 turnovers by Simeon Wilcher, 2 turnovers by Traore. Everybody turned it over at least once.
Simeon Wilcher, he was bad yesterday, but he also did some things where I'm like, yo, that's different. There was one play where he was on a break, and there's a 6'8" dude for Arizona State in the lane waiting, and Simeon Wilcher, like one step inside the free throw line, takes off and just tries to posterize the dude and almost had it. And not many point guards are getting up like that, man. I'm just saying. If
he had 3 blocks.
Yeah, he's athletic, but he can't turn the ball over. He had some bad turnovers where Arizona State, Bobby Hurley out coaching Sean Miller, they pressed them. And it's like, Sean Miller, are y'all not working on the press ever? Because it should be easy to break with the guards that you have. Get somebody in the middle, Don't throw the ball on the inbounds to the corner. Get away from the corners in the sideline. That's literally press break 101. That's where they want you to be, because that sideline, the out of bounds, that's another defender. So if you have two guys trapping you and forcing you out of bounds, yeah, you're easier to guard in the press. They kept throwing it to that person in the corner, which is dumb. And they just struggled to get the ball up the court at times. You know, Texas did some dumb stuff. They did some dumb stuff yesterday.
Let me ask you something, because Jordan Pope drives me crazy, makes some shots. He scored 10 points on 11 shots. That's not good.
It's not great.
And no, I don't think anyone likes Cam Heide because they don't look for him at all. They don't look for him at all. He was 2 of 4. He only shot the ball 4 times. This dude's your best 3-point shooter. But they don't look for him. And so at times it feels like, oh God, I got the ball. I may never get the ball again. I'm going to shoot it. But maybe he's not settled. Whereas, you know, that game against whatever Ryder, whoever the hell they were playing, it seemed like at least he had Simeon Wilcher looking for him. Wilcher assisted on 3 of his 6 threes. Jordan Pope has never looked for Cam Heide, ever. Jordan Pope is looking for his own shot.
Yeah, I don't know why. The Cam Heide thing, for one, he's a catch and shoot shooter only. He's not really going to put the ball on the deck. He tried to yesterday and traveled. He literally got in the paint and just traveled. And it's like, dude, come on. Like elementary stuff. It drives me nuts, but they're human. I get it. But yeah, he's not going to put the ball on the deck and score that way. So he has to be ready to shoot, right in the pocket, where he could just catch it and shoot it and not worry about anything else. And those shots, they're not easy to come by. Like, we got scholarship players on the other side too.
He was on the floor. I always look who's on the floor in the final 2 minutes of a game. Those are the guys that the coaches believe in the most. And Heide was on the floor.
Right.
And so I'm like, okay, guys, look for him a couple times or run something for him. Yeah. Just see if he's hot.
But he also has to be more aggressive. Like there's just shots that I'm sure when he was in West Lafayette playing for Matt Painter would have pulled the hair out of his head if Cam Heide thought about certain shots that you and I are saying he should take. So I don't know if Sean Miller's telling them that, but yeah, sometimes it might be a tougher closeout for a defender where in the past you might think that's a bad shot. Let it fly. Let it fly and see what happens. Because he was doing that against Ryder. Now, Arizona State, they're better than Ryder. They're actually a Power 5 team in the Big 12 Conference. But, yeah, sometimes they aren't looking for him. And I also think sometimes Cam Heide just turns down shots because he's looking for a better one. When you only got 30 seconds, sometimes that better shot doesn't come. You know, you catch it with 15 seconds left. You're like, oh, maybe we could get a better one. Sometimes it just doesn't come, and you got to take the shot that's there. They'll figure that out. But their offense at times did look good yesterday. Like they got about 4 dunks and layups off of this wing side pick and roll that came with their offensive motion action. And then with like 10 seconds left, they get the ball to the wing. I saw Kendall Weaver make a good pass from there. Dalen Swain, even Jordan Pope made a good pass to Cam Heide, Nick Cody. I think Mathis got involved too. But they just got to stop doing dumb things. They're getting better at feeding Mathis, which is huge. Like they've kind of struggled at that, just the angles when it comes to low post passing. You know, they struggle with that. And Sean Miller did a solid job of putting them in situations where if they threw it over the top, depending on where the offense was, they didn't allow Arizona State to help on Mathis, and he got some good looks there. But, yeah, man, they shot themselves in the foot more than once. And like I said earlier in the show, Sean Miller was not good in that last minute. Get the ball out of Odom's hands, please. And also, Dalen Swain earned the right to take the last-second shot in that game. And to go to Trayvon Mark, that's weird to me. Like it is. I get it. He missed the last 2 free throws, and it was weird, Chip, because they get the stop where Swain is driving before Odom fouls him before he missed those free throws. And Dalen Swain was pissed. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because he thought that he should have finished the layup instead of going to the line and having to shoot 2 free throws, or he should have turned around and dropped it off to Mathis, or maybe it was Jordan Pope. I don't know, but it was a 3-on-1 break. And instead of Swain waiting for his guys to catch up to him to where you can make that pass and get an easy layup to go up 4, he took it upon himself and got fouled, and the rest is history. Missed the free throws. Odom came down, made his 3. They gave the ball to Trayvon Mark. He slips and falls. Ball game. So these are learning moments for Texas basketball, and I saw a lot of promise. I did, to what my man Colin is saying here. No, they're not horrible. They're just still trying to figure things out, and they just got to play smarter basketball, and coach has to coach better. Simple as that. Yeah. Which I'm going to be hard on Sean Miller. Please believe me. I was hard on Rodney Terry, and Sean Miller, the resources that he's been given through NIL and the boosters and stuff is double to what Coach Terry got. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to be hard on Sean Miller because he's getting more opportunities than RT got. That's for damn sure. And I was very hard on Rodney Terry and what we saw last year. So, yeah, Sean Miller, anybody could get it. Like, I got to see a good product. And if something happens to where I don't, I'm going to call you out on it. That's just where it is.
Yeah, Dalen Swain, 3 of 6 from the free throw line. This team, they got some tightening up to do. They're shooting 66% from the free throw line. That is not going to cut it.
It's not good. Yeah, you're not – Maui with the depth perception for a shooter, oh, my gosh, that's heaven. It's like a high school gym.
It's like a high school gym.
Yeah, there's nobody behind you to distract you on the free throw line. Those rims are soft. You know what I'm saying? They're friendly, soft rims. Like, no excuses. You got to make them. You got to make them, Dalen Swain. And he was cooking, too. You know, I hate that those free throws are the only things that Longhorn fans and what we're going to remember from Maui. But some of the things that he does, he just has a really calm presence. Yeah. And I still don't think he's aggressive enough. Like, there's times where your boy Jordan Pope takes shots that Dalen Swain should be taking. Yes. You know what I'm saying? There's times where Trayvon Mark's taking shots that Dalen Swain should be taking because it's starting to kind of click where he's realizing how good he really is and how aggressive he has to be. But you could tell that's never been his kind of game.
But let me ask you this,
overall,
Zay,
do everything.
I don't want to overcook the grits here, but like a good point guard, when you've got a 61% 3-point shooter on your team and he's on the floor, maybe it's a good time to drive and dish. Like, draw that guy's defender so that you can throw it back out to him and he can have a clean look. And that probably gives the shooter some confidence if the point guard is trying to create for him instead of just getting the ball and jacking it up when my man is wide open in the corner and he's sitting there because he is a spot up shooter. So he's in his spot. Maybe we try to create a little, confidence in the guy.
I agree. And this goes back to the presser where Sean Miller was so adamant of making Jordan Pope the point guard and giving him the keys and giving him all this responsibility and giving him all this confidence and letting him know, Jordan, this is your show. And you and I are over here saying that's just not his game. Like, it's not his fault. They're doing him a disservice because he wasn't that at Oregon State. He was recruited to be a scorer. He is a scoring guard in a point guard's body. And now in his senior year, they're telling him to be a pure point guard. And those things, they don't come natural. Scoring, it does more than anything else, even though he's still undersized and sometimes it's hard for him to get his shot up. He had a couple of good finishes. He had a couple of threes. But overall, man, when it comes to just point guard duties and having those thoughts, as you said, Chip, like, okay, I got a really good three-point shooter on my team. He hasn't touched the ball or got a good shot up in a while. Maybe I should look for him more. That's not going on in his mind because that's not how he's been.
Because here's my problem. Dalen Swain has attempted the most field goals on the team, and that I'm good with that. He's attempted 68 shots. My problem is Jordan Pope has attempted the second most field goal attempts at 59, and he's only shooting 29%.
Yeah, that's not good.
Matis has only attempted 49 shots. He's shooting 65%.
That's a problem.
Tremont Mark has attempted 45 shots. He's shooting 47%. Jordan Pope has attempted the second most shots on the team, 59, and he's shooting 29% from 2.
Yeah.
That's not winning basketball.
Yeah.
That's not winning basketball. Simeon Wilcher's attempted 37 shots. He's shooting 40%. Kendall Weaver's attempted 27 shots. He's shooting 44%. Cam Heidi's only attempted 19 shots. The dude's shooting 61.5% from 3. Hey, Jordan Pope, give up the rock. You suck at shooting.
Come on, man. He's going through a tough time. He's going through a tough time.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, trust me. There'll be that 40-point game.
Yeah, it's coming.
It's coming. But guess what? We got to suffer through all these 2 for 9s and 3 for 11s before we get to the 40-point game where, while Dalen Swain is, like you said, he's got a smooth game. It looks easy. It's beautiful to watch. And he's putting the biscuit in the basket. Jordan Pope.
Yeah. I'm telling you, if Simeon Wilcher, that's why I'm like, Simeon Wilcher, stop turning the ball over. You could literally steal this job. Simeon Wilcher has so much more upside than Jordan Pope. It's ridiculous. Like there's another play. I mentioned the dunk attempt that he missed, which was spectacular, but there was another play where he goes coast to coast and he bodies up Odom. Just a little body, a little shoulder, a little Shea Gilgeous-Alexander shoulder. Odom goes flying in the crowd. Simeon Wilcher just lays it up like nothing. And it's like, man, he had those 3 blocks yesterday, all on Odom. Like, they tried to put him in to stop Odom, but nobody was stopping Odom last night. But he had his moments where he played good D on them. Like, Simeon Wilcher, if you could just take care of the rock, man, you could steal those minutes. You could steal those minutes. To what my man Chan's saying, I don't know if Pope has something on Sean Miller to make him say all that, to make him the, second leading shot attempt taker on this team, because Mathis should be second, easy. He just needs to quit throwing those elbows, man. You're already big. Just stop.
Yeah.
Like him getting into foul trouble in the first half, that's tough. And one last thing I'm going to say before we get to the chip shot about this game. Like I always say, you've heard me say it before. If you followed me for the longest, when I talk college basketball, I always throw out these stats. When a team makes more free throws than you shoot, that's bad news. You are not in a good situation to win the game. I'm not saying that you can't still win it, because there's obviously other stats that you can win, but That stat is very telling to how the game is. Arizona State made 28. Texas only shot 27. So even though the rest were bogus,
Horrible.
you still got to adjust and understand how the game's being called and understand that, okay, maybe I have to be smarter about where I stick my hands when things happen, when there's traffic. You know what I mean? Maybe I shouldn't jump for this block. Maybe I should be careful when I drive the lane because they're calling charges. You know, like you just got to be a smarter basketball player because refs are going to be bad more than once this year. That's just how it is. Guys aren't perfect. We don't have robots reffing the game yet. Maybe that'll happen in 2035. Who knows? Maybe sooner. But till then, as long as these humans are going to do it, they're going to do human things. And that's muck up every once in a while or two or three. So you got to adjust, man. The great teams do it. This Texas team still a work in progress. But, yeah, last night was tough.
Yeah. All right, let's get listen. Humann is making it so much easier for all of us to live a healthy life. And I love talking about Humann because they're, science-backed formulas were born from research at the University of Texas Health Science Center. You see the Humann with 2 N's logo on the football field at DKR. And they're looking out for the nitty-gritty. Like they're trying to make sure that your blood pressure is right. They're trying to make sure that your heart health is right, that your blood sugar levels are right, your cardiovascular health. And so these are the 3 products that you need to take right here. You got the cardiovascular health daily, the cholesterol health daily, and the metabolic health daily. Each one, especially when taken together, they're going to help you have healthy vascular function, promote healthy circulation, healthy cholesterol levels, maintain, healthy blood sugar levels, and support weight management. Let me make sure I got them all facing you because these are the only 3 supplements you need right here. The cardiovascular, metabolic, and cholesterol health. This is what's going to keep you feeling great. And of course, along with my, Super Beats Heart Chews and my turmeric chews, I take the Super Beats because listen, if you've had a little blood pressure, this is going to help promote healthy blood pressure. And that's what I'm talking about. And then the turmeric chews, which are going to help with anti-inflammation. Go to Humann with 2 N's.com/TSU and see for yourself. Use the promo code TSU and you're going to get 20% off your first order. So load up because there's a 90-day money-back guarantee. So load up with the metabolic, cholesterol, and cardiovascular health. Take those 3 every day. You're going to feel so much better. It's ridiculous. And your body is going to feel so much better. And the Super Beats Heart Chews and the turmeric chews. Load up by going to Humann with 2 N's.com/TSU. Use promo code TSU and see for yourself. 90-day money back guarantee. So you have nothing to lose. And hey, what a weekend. What a time to spend with family, Thanksgiving. And Cover 3's got you covered. Whether you want to get for the, get in for brunch on the weekends, place to watch Texas play A&M. You're getting high-end food without the high-end prices. Great vibe, great service. You might even bump into Tiger Brown, Tendon Bar there at Cover 3 Anderson. So get over to Cover 3 Anderson. Get over to Cover 3 Round Rock. Enjoy happy hour. 3:30 to 6:30 every day. The $7 social hour menu with the firecracker shrimp, the bacon deviled eggs, the big chicken slider, Yeah. Enjoy. Don't forget about the Sean Adams prime rib sandwich and the Chop House burger. That's what I'm talking about. All right, for the chip shot today, I want to talk about this Texas defense getting back to doing their job. And what we've seen these last 4 games, this is an anomaly. I'm just going to say it. You've had some interesting circumstances. Some key guys have been out. And then I think like Michael Taft being out, and then when he came back, I think he tried to do too much. And he wasn't keeping his eyes in the right place. He wasn't playing disciplined football, probably because he watched the pass defense fall apart when he wasn't in there. So he came back trying to, play hero ball, and that's not going to work. And look, Anthony Hill, hopefully he can play, first of all, because Steve Sarkisian did not give us an update yesterday, and we should be getting a player availability report tonight since Texas is playing on Friday. Now, I could be wrong on that, but nonetheless, if Anthony Hill is available to play, I get the feeling Anthony Hill is going to be fine. Anthony Hill, the game's in slow motion for him now. He's the one kind of telling everybody what to do. But even Anthony Hill can't get, he can't think about, oh, man, they gave up 188 yards rushing without me. I got to make every play. Everybody just needs to get back to doing their job. Just do your job. And let your, trust your training and let your fire take over from there. Punch the ball out, make plays. You got to turn this A&M offense over because you need to get stops, and then you need to get your offense extra possessions because, hey, what if Marcel Reed is locked in? What if Marcel Reed's having he's like, I'm going to go have my Heisman moment. Okay. Well, guess what? He's got 2 of the best yards after catch receivers in college football in Casey Concepcion and Mario Craver. Mario Craver has 500 yards of yak. Mario Craver has 781 yards receiving. 500 of those are yards after the catch. That tells you all you need to know. Yeah. You've got to get that guy on the ground. And KC Concepcion, he's right behind him. KC Concepcion, he's got some serious yak too. He's got 400 yards of yak. How many total yards he got? He's got 829 yards receiving. Half his yards are yak, yards after catch. You got to get these guys on the ground. So, Pete Kwiatkowski, you better bring the heat, dog. You let Marcel Reed get into rhythm, and he's hitting these rockets across the field. I mean, we saw some of that with Mississippi State. Brennan Thompson was getting his early, and then guess what? Texas brought the heat, and Blake Shapen started getting sacked. Anthony Hill had 4 tackles for loss against Mississippi State. Colin Simmons, Ethan Burke, they were all eating. So just come on. Yeah. Do your job, everybody. Pete Kwiatkowski, you do your job, and don't play any prevent defense.
Yeah. Remember, these guys, they're friends. Like, remember the Sonic commercial we played at the beginning of the year with Marcel Reed and
Michael Taft?
Yeah, Michael Taft and Colin Simmons, and they talked about it. They talked about how good of a person Marcel Reed is, and what Mookie Taft say. Like, I wanted to hate him, but I couldn't. He's just a good guy that's down to earth. So, yeah, this is interesting game, and getting that pressure. I think it's all on A&M, and we'll see.
Sounds like.
We got that for the right call, Jose. I got you, dog.
Okay.
You're ahead of me. That's what I'm talking
Okay,
about.
let's get to the right call.
Get to the right call. Before that, though, shout out to Covert BK. Best in the business. It is the holidays. Everybody's doing traveling, trying to get around to their next destination, and you want to be in a vehicle you feel comfortable in, and that is at Covert B Cave. And if you don't want to take my word for how great Covert B Cave is, listen to these fine folks at Covert B Cave.
I don't have to worry about shopping for mechanics to make sure it's done and done right. I come up here, I'm in, I'm out. They give me a loaner sometimes, and it's hassle-free.
If you have any questions, they'll go ahead and help you out and educate you. They're not just here just to sell you a vehicle. They're here to build a relationship.
They treat you like family, and then they make the experience what you want it to be, not what they want it to be.
Covert, born and raised in Austin,
where you are always treated like family.
Nobody beats a Covert deal. Not now, not ever. All right, Chip. Yeah, right call today. Jose read my mind because the right guard for A&M, Amari Reed Adams, was asked today or yesterday, I don't know when, but about Texas winning last year at Kyle Field. And after they went to the middle of the field to stomp out the logo before Steve Sarkisian and the rest of the coaching staff told them to stop and get to the locker room, this is what Amari had to say about that.
Is there anything from the game last season that stuck with you from a revenge standpoint, maybe that you guys were able to do? Or
a few things, but we're going to get it handled. I don't want to speak on nobody.
Does it happen to include the players stomping on the field after the game?
Yeah, cowards do what cowards do.
Cowards.
Okay.
Cowards.
Cowards do what cowards do.
I mean, they were whooping your ass in front of your face. So it didn't seem too cowardly there when Ethan Burke was making big time goal line stops, and Trey Moore was stripping Marcel Reed, and Mookie Taft was intercepting Marcel Reed. They weren't cowards then, but cool. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. I'm Pete Kwiatkowski. You know what I'm saying? I'm Kenny Baker. I am showing them that. This guy is calling us cowards after we went down there to College Station and whooped that ass. So in a game that doesn't need any bulletin board material, just a little bonus is cool with me. You know what I'm saying? You can always have ice cream, but add a little hot fudge to it, a little sprinkles, just makes it that much better. And if Amari here wants to call Texas cowards before the game, I'm good with that. I'm good with it. I like that stuff. So clearly, Amari's been thinking about that for a year now. So much so where he thinks these guys are cowards, and that's bulletin board material for Mike Elko and his crew. So, yeah, man, it's all part of the love of the game, and it's on, as my man Mike says. It's on. Yeah. All right, Chip. I think you're going to find this a little comical. So Joe Burrow is back this week. He plays Thursday night, Thanksgiving, against the Ravens in that AFC North matchup. And they asked him during his presser, how special is it playing on Thanksgiving Day? And listen to what he had to say.
Always liked wanting to play on this day.
I think just like a lot of kids, you grow up going through Thanksgiving, you have your meals with your family, and then you go and sit on the couch, and typically there's not a lot on, except football. Back in the day, it was Lions and somebody. You go watch Matthew Stafford throw for 300, 400 some yards with Calvin Johnson and probably lose the game, but it was fun to watch. Those are memories that you have, and so I kind of always wanted to be the person out there.
Hey, Joe is spitting the truth right there. I mean, Thanksgiving, it was always fun. They'd make Lions would hang around, make some plays. If they had any kind of defense, that's why I'm so mad at the Jim Caldwell year.
Yeah,
because they still had Stafford and Megatron and Dominican Sue. It was like they just needed. That's when they should have hired Zimmer to like get that defense under control, because that team could have been a contender, but they weren't. Yeah. Now at least the Lions are a respectable team to watch on Thanksgiving.
That's
It
true.
used to just be punching bag. Like, you just go watch the other team beat up on the Lions on Thanksgiving. So
we're going to be on Friday. Remember, y'all, we're on earlier from 11 to 1, so Chip could get to the game on Friday, a little pregame show version of Chip and Zay. But since they're playing Thursday, NFL, do you want to knock out any of those games for our picks?
Yeah. We need to knock out some picks.
Okay. Your Lions, how you feeling about them? Are you going to pick them in your matchup?
Yeah, let me look real quick, because we got Cowboys and we got Lions, we got Cowboys. Let's see here. Okay, so give me what the spread is on this. Okay, so Detroit -2.5. Yeah, give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me.
I ain't gonna lie. I like what the Packers did to Minnesota. They were petty because they were playing in Lambeau, and after the final turnover, the defensive players for the Packers went over to the stands, and he made the whole crowd do the skull at Lambeau. I thought that was so dope. Like, that was the type of petty stuff that I live for. So I'm not gonna pick that game. I'm gonna let you, because if I do, I'm gonna pick the Packers, and then we're trying to be loving and thankful. I'm not gonna do that to you because you're my guy. So I'm gonna go Cowboys. Yeah, this is the time. Patrick Mahomes, he got that look in his eye. I saw from that overtime victory. Give me the Chiefs -3.
KC -3. Oh, okay, that's under the NFL picks. KC -3. Okay, and then are there any college games that you are interested in on Thursday?
No.
Okay.
No. We might as well save the rest of the picks for Friday, because nothing's jumping out that's worth picking.
I can tell you right now. I need Philadelphia to wake up and beat those Bears on Friday. That line is 7, which feels a little rich, but we'll be able to.
Ain't nobody going to be watching that, man, unless folks that have to watch it. Who's really going to be on Prime watching that game? Come on now. Like, Black Friday, right when they saw Texas A&M back to Black Friday, they sort of said, nah, we good. We'll wait till Sunday. But, NFL, they like to be greedy this time of the year.
So the Titans, hands down, are the worst team in the NFL. Is that fair?
I feel like New Orleans is.
Or the Raiders?
Yeah, probably Titans. Probably, yeah, Raiders.
Yeah. Okay.
Poor Javondre Sweat.
Yeah.
He don't deserve
he's
it.
still the jovial giant.
Yeah, but
still the jovial giant. By the way, A&M in SEC play, opponents are averaging 3rd and 8 on 3rd down in SEC play. All right, Steve.
They haven't played nobody in the SEC, so
they played all the teams that fired their coach.
Every team that fired their
every one of them. Hey. All right. let's bring in the fellas. Let's open up the gym. Patrick and Matt. What's up, fellas?
What's going on, you guys? By the way, if you're
Yeah.
naming off the worst teams in the NFL, you cannot forget the JETS, Jets. They are also in that conversation. They are god-awful this season.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
The Rams are the best, though.
Yeah. Rams are cooking.
Rams
Damn.
and Matt's high school friend, Matt Stafford, are cooking right now.
Yeah, I might get a Matt Stafford jersey and just put it right there, just right next to Eli.
There you go.
Yeah.
Put it up there for having the best season for just ruin. I just don't like that LA is having this much success. I don't like LA sports. I don't like their fan base because they don't really care unless their team's winning, and then they'll tell you how much better their team is than yours. But you can't yell at them when their team's bad.
The thing is,
don't care at all when their team's bad.
They've got that college chemistry thing going right now. Like, I was listening to Devontae Adams after the Rams beat the crap out of the Buccaneers, and he's like, everyone pulls for each other. Everyone's happy. I'm like, okay, this does not happen in the NFL very often. So they got some going right now. I don't know if it can last, but they got it going right now.
I mean, that's what happens when you get great leadership from the quarterback position,
Yeah. And I'm all about Matt Stafford. I watched that dude drag the Lions to victory in one fourth quarter comeback after another while getting beat to ragdoll status. So
no, I think the wife, I give her the credit. She's staying quiet. She's not embarrassing Matt anymore, talking about crazy stories of how she used to hang out with second string dude to make Matt jealous. She's just staying low key. Now Matt can focus. All things are good.
And he's overcome his wife.
Yeah, that's the toughest job of all.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Hey, Zay, real quick before you go, do you think we need to fly out to Hawaii so we can start wiping down the court? Because apparently they're hiring 5-year-olds to do it. There was one kid out there who could not be over 6 years old.
Okay, I'm not crazy. I was thinking the same thing.
No, there was a kid that walked out, and the refs were like, "Oh," and the kid stomping the floor and doing the shoe thing. I'm like, dude, you are 5 years old. Get some. These are athletes are making $1 million. Like, they're making lots of money now. We can't get somebody that's 20 years old, 18 years old, 16 years old.
Maui's cutting corners, man.
Dude, it is cheap out there. Hey, they didn't even give Craig Way a shirt this year. Tell you that.
You see Craig Way's computer almost hit the deck?
I saw the iPad hit. I know the iPad. Yeah. I saw it almost take that guy out. I think Craig kicked him under the table. That's why he was hurt. I think Craig kicked him under the table.
Oh, yeah. Rib shot.
I was asleep when that game was being played, so I didn't see any of it.
Hey, round of applause, Matt. Good decision. Good decision, Matt.
I wish
one of the worst games of basketball. I wish I was too, man. Hey, y'all have a happy Thanksgiving.
Friday at 11. Friday at 11, we'll be back.
Yes, sir.
Welcome into Open Gym here on Texas Sports Unfiltered. Myself, Patrick Davis, alongside Matt Galatzan of Texas Longhorns on SI. And, of course, you, the third member of Open Gym. Text line's open, 512-222-9328. And, of course, the chat, Facebook, Twitch, X, and on YouTube. If you're over on YouTube, make sure to give us a like and a subscribe. And remember, on Friday, we're off. This is our last day of the week, but on Friday, you do get Chip and Zay early, and then instead of us, there will be pregame happening with Bucky and BK getting you ready for Texas versus Texas A&M. Matt, you picked the right thing to not watch. I stayed up for it, and it was like just the fact that I was up and didn't really like. It was one of those games that if it wasn't Texas, you would turn it off. So immediately you just go, this isn't worth watching. It was awful. So you made the right decision to not watch the game, Matt, because it was bad.
Yeah, I'm not upset about not seeing that game. It sounded very frustrating. It sounded very deflating. I saw something like 28 personal fouls on Texas, 19 turnovers. So that had to be a very, very difficult game to watch.
You had over 60 free throws shot in that game.
I bet that game took a long time.
Yeah, it finished after 1 a.m. is when the game finished up, after 1 a.m. It was frustrating. I was like, are these refs getting paid by the hour? It was rough. But I wanted to say this before we get into it, man. I did watch something while I was waiting for the game to come on that I don't know. Do you know who Jim Gaffigan is?
Of course, yes.
Do you know he has a new 30-minute special that just came out on YouTube that is literally just about bourbon?
I did not know this. This piques my interest, though, Patrick.
So I wanted to give you something to watch over the holidays, Matt. It's like a 30-minute YouTube thing of his, but it's a special he did at Old Forester's because Jim Gaffigan now has his own bourbon that came out. Apparently,
okay, I've been to that distillery. It's cool.
But he did a 30-some minute set that the entire set is about bourbon.
That's right up my alley. Please send that to me as soon as possible.
I will send that to you. But I want to let you know, and anybody else who enjoys Matt's bourbon banter, since we won't have it this week, since we're done today. We do that on Fridays. But I did want to tell, if you want to enjoy some bourbon stuff this weekend on Friday, you can tune in and watch it. It's free on YouTube. So you can watch to Jim Gaffigan's bourbon special. I was watching it last night as I was waiting for Texas versus Arizona State.
Or if you want a bourbon suggestion you can watch that show. Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
yeah. If you want a bourbon suggestion for Thanksgiving to bring to the family's house or just to enjoy with your family or whatever, shoot me a DM on Twitter or something like that. I'll give you a good one for this week since I'm not going to be able to bring it to you. But bourbon is an elite Thanksgiving cocktail.
It's a good one, you know. I think that there's a good thing. I've done it before. Of after you have some turkey and then I'd smoke a cigar and have a nice glass of whiskey or bourbon and have that on the patio afterwards. Is a fun thing to do on Thanksgiving. I am curious, and throw this in the chat. But I'm curious if anybody has. I realized I am not the biggest Thanksgiving guy because I've been dieting a little bit, and then you're like, oh, it's a cheat day, and I was talking to people like, oh, it's a cheat day. I'm like, I don't know, like it is a cheat day because I'm not going to be eating the right. But I also don't gorge myself on Thanksgiving. I've never really been, because there isn't enough things that I really like at Thanksgiving. So I do eat more probably than normal, but I don't. It's not one like where I'm like, oh, I got to get thirds. I normally maybe get like a second, make one more piece of turkey or something like that. But I don't normally get a ton of extra. I'm not a huge Thanksgiving, like most of it. I'm not a pie person. I don't like pies. So that's part of it that takes out for me. So I don't think, but let me know. Let me know what your favorite, what your heavy sell of Thanksgiving food is in the chat. So I know what I have to try and put some there on the plate. I also, my family does, they try and do fancy things sometimes. I'm a very plain Jane guy. So like you get a casserole and have mushrooms in it. And I'm like, I'm fine. I don't need the mushrooms in there. Don't need them in there.
Patrick, we are exactly the same, my guy. We are exactly the same. I don't gorge myself on Thanksgiving food. I hate mushrooms. If there's mushrooms in the stuffing, I won't eat it. I get like some turkey, always dark meat, mashed potatoes, put a little gravy on there, maybe have a roll, and that's about it. And I maybe I'll go back for seconds, but only if I'm still hungry.
Yeah, my mom makes a good dressing, so I'll have the dressing too. I'll have some of that. She makes some good ones. They're spicy. I like a nice spicy dressing, put some jalapeno, and then I got her to start making it with serranos or habaneros because the jalapenos, you can't tell if they're going to be hot enough, and sometimes they lose the flavor, but you can get
Kathy
the serrano.
Galatzan, I hope you're taking some notes.
I will tell you that adding some spice to a tray of dressing, you have the two. She'll have the regular dressing and then the spicy dressing. And so we'll do that. So I'll always get some of the spicy dressing too. She does that. It's awesome. But yeah, overall, I'm not there, but I know people talk about it being one of their favorites. So let me know what your favorite can't live without it Thanksgiving thing is, because I'm also not like the biggest turkey guy. Think turkey, like ham's better than turkey.
Yeah,
there you go.
Absolutely.
Like deviled eggs for Ike. I'm not a deviled eggs guy either.
Me either.
I've had them maybe once or twice.
Same food palette.
I've had them once or twice. They're okay, but also. Eggs are a thing that at 40, I don't eat eggs in public, really, at 40 years old. Because if you have one egg, that's every conversation you have for the rest of the day is your egg breath. It's one of those foods. You can't get rid of it. 20 beers later, still egg breath. Doesn't matter.
Well, I guess that's fair.
Because you're burping it back
all the time.
Look, I'll eat eggs. I don't do it in, like, if I'm out somewhere, I don't do it. So say, because if I'm by myself, I'll have it. I'll have some eggs for breakfast or something like that. And then you try not to. But if I'm like at a party or something, I know the rest of the party, you're with your family or whatever else, the rest of the time, I'm going to be just every time you're having the conversation, you'll be like, oh, and so then they throw the pass to seat, oh, lamb, and just egg across the whole room. So I don't, I try not to do that as much. But I like the jalapeno instead of pickle. I'm okay with putting a little spice in it. I like that. Keep those coming in. If you want to throw in any of your suggestions or your final score predictions, I see we already got one from Terry. So we will have our final predictions for the game. I know it's hard. I've been going back and forth on mine all day.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have the right score, but I keep flipping flopping to who's going to win. I say the flipping flopping of who's got the score and the win is what I've been doing today. So
I'm the exact same way. Honestly, I have the score in my head, and I did a locked on crossover with BK earlier today, and I gave one answer, and I might give a different answer on this show a few hours later.
It's going back and forth in my head. So we'll see. And then look, I will give you, it is Tuesday afternoon. By the time BK posts the score predictions, me and Matt reserve the right to change if injury report information or anything else comes out that maybe sways our opinion of what happens. We have the right to change what we're going to say. But we will give our predictions a little bit later. We will get into all the normal stuff we normally do on a Friday, get into all of that. I think Matt's got a little all-22 to give you just a little taste of an all-22 to show you a little bit of what A&M does, which you can expect to see. We'll make our picks a little bit later in the show. I do want to start off, I know we mentioned it, but just about the Texas Longhorns Arizona State game last night, because I know a lot of people did not stay up for it, and the people who did, apologies for you having to stay up for that game. This game really, and I know it's one game, they're going to play a couple more there in Maui. They play again, I think, at 9:30 tonight. So they're back in action again today. They're now in the losers bracket of the tournament. But they play Chaminade, or whatever you want to pronounce it as, at 9:30 tonight. So you can watch that game. But this does feel like a wildly incomplete team.
Mm-hmm.
That there was just so many things going wrong. I mean, and there was things that went right. When you say this team outshot them, they shot a better percentage. They shot worse from three, but they shot a better percentage on the floor. They out-rebounded them massively. Had more assists. Had more blocks. Had a lot going for them. They turned the ball over 19 times, though, and committed a metric ton of fouls, which in all reality was the officials were just bad. They weren't bad one way or the other. They were just bad officials. They just kept calling everything. So it's just frustrating. Like, stop calling everything. Both teams know now. They're just running into the basket at this point. It's all anybody's doing and getting calls. So stop doing it. But we saw early in the game, Modest Voikatitis was not being involved in the game plan, really. They were trying to keep it on the outside. Arizona State's defense did what they wanted. They come back in the second half and immediately start feeding the ball down to Voikatitis. And that's when Texas starts to climb back into it and take a lead because they're just throwing the ball down. And then everybody starts attacking. And Dalen Swain has a really good game, ends up with 24 points. You have all of that. You get a 10-point lead, and then you stop doing everything that you've been doing and let them crawl back into the game because your offense just, again, gets lazy. And you stop really doing what you're doing. You stop attacking really hard. You start taking more jump shots. You start to settle a little bit more. You're waiting too much in the shot clock. Partially, too, is you're trying to kill clock, so you're starting to just not go. So once you get in the half court offense for this team is no good other than getting it to Voikatitis. There's really nothing else. No one else is really doing much on the half court. I don't like that. And then Sean Miller's coaching at the end of the game. I don't like that he called a timeout. Dalen Swain had the ball on like a 3-on-3, pretty open to the basket. Just go take that basket and score those 2 points. I don't like that they didn't double team Odom, who had been the only guy beating you at that point. Odom, who for the Sun Devils had 36 points and the game-winning 3. I don't know how you don't double him off a screen. I don't know how you get back on him and don't let him take that shot. And then they gave the ball to Tremont Mark, who did nothing. He just fell over. And I get the court was – that's why I was making fun of it with Zay, that they didn't really do a good job of getting the sweat off the floor. So by the end of the game, everybody was slipping around. but it's still, he just kind of fell over. So you didn't even get a last shot out of the timeout. You dribbled around, he dribbled they got bumped and then fell over, and they ran out the clock. All of that was just atrocious to watch. Also, not to mention Dalen Swain goes to the bucket on the play before, gets fouled, and misses both free throws. So you have a 2-point lead. You could make it 4, and instead you miss both free throws. So now the 3 beats you. All of that combined in the end just felt just terrible. It was poor coaching, poor execution, poor playing. Just guys that aren't really there. They love Jordan Pope. They're a huge fan of him. I mean, he played 32 minutes in this game, and I get part of that was because of the foul trouble, because Wilcher fouled out in this game, and Traore had 4 fouls. Tremont Mark had 4 fouls. So I understand that part of that was because, but you're like, I want to see Kendall Weaver in there more. Kendall Weaver's a better player than Jordan Pope is. I get Jordan Pope is somewhat running the offense the way he wants, but if you're going to not put the ball in his hands at the end of the game and put in Tremont Marks, then what's the point? So I just don't know what they're trying to do right now. Like, after watching that, not to be hyperbolic, it doesn't feel like this is a tournament team. I know everybody gets in and it's there, but this could be a team that wins 1 or 2 games in the SEC. If they play like they did last night, there's a good chance that they are at the bottom of the SEC. Now, they could get better. They could definitely get better. I'm not, because we're still early. There's still a lot there. But just watching how they played so far this season, like, I think you see the moments of it, but overall, there just isn't. Like, I haven't seen them come out and play a real game against anybody. And they've only had a few decent teams, but they've played bad against some bad teams too. Like, you can't do that in the SEC.
I think they'll be okay. It's still early in the season for me. That's the second power team they've played, or power conference.
They're I think the 85th team by Ken Palm, Arizona State was. They're not good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, still, the point is it's early in the season. I agree with you. I don't think that this is an SEC title contender, or maybe even a top half SEC team. If they finish in the top 13 of the SEC, they still have a chance to make the tournament. We'll see. It's really difficult to play with a bunch of new players that you've never played with before on a new system and all those things. So I think it's going in the right direction. If they finish 500 in the SEC or around it,
if they finish 500, I'll be shocked. Like, right now, it's just they don't have a point guard. They don't have anyone to really go to other than Vujicic in the half court. Cam Heide looked bad again. By the way, Cam Heide, if I was Sean Miller, if Cam Heide takes another NBA 3, the second he does, I'm calling a timeout and benching him. Like, I'm done. Dude, the dude shoots like 40% from 3, and he's taking NBA 3s. He took 2 in the game. He missed both of them. He took 1 3-pointer on the line, and he hit it. Oof. I get why you're open. You're open because it's a dumb shot. That's why you're open. You're open because you're 3 or 4 feet behind the 3-point line. Don't take that shot. So he did that twice in the game, and both of them were just like, why are you doing this? So things like that, I thought, look, he can do other things. He had some good rebounds, but actually only had 1 rebound too. They only gave him that. Like, he did not have the game you wanted to see out of him either in this. It was just a lot of people played pretty poorly. I'm hoping that this is more an anomaly, but Arizona State's not really a great basketball team, and Texas was able to go and beat them, and not able to ever pull away. It was frustrating. It's also frustrating because I was watching this at 1 a.m.
That
maybe affecting my mood.
To do with it.
Also frustrating. But let's get into it, Matt, as we are getting closer to Friday, and we're getting close to the end of the week. So it's time to get into our A&M talk. You know A&M very well, so you'll know a lot about all these players when we get to our Aggie players to know here. We'll start off with the quarterback, Matt. Marcel Reed, number 10, your sophomore quarterback. He's very athletic. He can make any throw on the field. He's got great poise, has been able to show it in games where he's been able to lead the team to comebacks and lead the team to these wins at the end of games. But a couple of things on him. He does have a bit of a smaller frame for a mobile quarterback. So you can, put a hurt on him and hit him a little bit more. If you're able to reach him and get to him, that can affect a guy who has a little bit smaller frame. And he's somebody that can lose focus and when he's forced to move, when he's forced to throw off his feet, throw while he's moving, throw that, he has been prone to mistakes.
Yep.
So you have to get after him because that is kind of it. If you let him plant his feet and throw the football, he will carve you up.
Yeah. Marcel Reed has taken massive strides since the Marcel Reed that you saw in College Station last year against Texas is 100 years ago at this point. This guy has progressed in so many different ways. He's more confident. He's more decisive with where he throws the football. His mechanics have cleaned up tremendously. The Texas A&M offense, which I'll show you a little bit later, isn't extremely complicated, but it's very explosive because it plays to Marcel Reed's strengths. He's really good at escaping pressure. If he gets outside the pocket, he's one of the fastest players in the field, and he can burn you very, very easily. This guy is a bona fide Heisman Trophy contender. There's no doubt about it. If I had to vote, I don't have a vote, but if I had to vote right now, I would vote him number one because I've been more impressed with what he has done on a consistent basis against the competition that he has faced than a Julian Sain or a Fernando Mendoza or Diego Pavia or whatever. He is the straw that stirs the drink for the Texas A&M offense, and I know they've got really explosive playmakers that help him out a whole lot, but this offense does not work without Marcel Reed whatsoever. Not even a little bit. So, hey, Sooner Cowboys making a comeback finally for the first time in weeks. Nice to see you, buddy.
Got ranked ahead of us again.
Yeah, and then he comes back. But yeah, I mean, I've been super impressed with Marcel the entire season. He didn't play his best game against Notre Dame. I think he completed less than 50% of his passes, but he still threw for like 360 and a couple scores. He's won games in a bunch of different ways. He's bounced back from playing very poorly in the first half against South Carolina to absolutely dominating the second half, which is, it says something for his mental resolve, I think. So you're not going to be able to keep this kid down if you get up big early, and he's going to be able to punish you if they get up big. So he's a superstar in my opinion.
We have two running backs on this team. One probably not going to play, but we'll tell you about him too because they are kind of a dual threat and they're both really good. Ruben Owens, the second, is number 4. He's your sophomore running back. Great speed and burst. He makes great cuts. He can get to the outside and make you pay. Again, a very explosive player. Doesn't necessarily have the physicality to just pound it through the tackles and just be a 20 carry back of 5-6 yards. But he is somebody that can break some really big ones, and he can get outside and make somebody miss and get you 5 or 6 yards. He just doesn't do it in the traditional way of between the tackles a ton. That's not his biggest strength. Who they do have for that is Le'Veon Moss, number 8, the senior running back. He's been hurt. Matt has said early in the week they don't expect him to be there. We will see. Who knows? Rivalry games happen. He can punish defenders with his power and his speed. He's not great in pass pro. He doesn't necessarily, wait for blocks and do all the things you want to see, but just athletically gifted and just can punish you. So together they make a really good duo of running backs. If Le'Veon Moss is out like we're expecting, that is a good sign for Texas because it does at least take one of their threats away.
Yeah, starting with Ruben Owens, this is a guy that Texas was really, really high on. He, was almost a Longhorn at one point, and then they ended up going with C.J. Baxter. Ruben Owens ended up going with A&M. If Texas could have gotten both of those guys in the class, they'd be sitting real pretty right now because Ruben Owens is an explosive playmaker. He's like a receiver out of the backfield at some points. He excels at outside runs. He's incredibly explosive. He can make you miss. He's got great hands. And if this guy gets ahead of you, you're not going to catch him. You're not going to run him down. You're not going to catch him. So he's a bona fide star as well. He's had a little bit of an injury history so far at A&M. He's been able to stay healthy for the majority of this year finally, which has been great for him. And he's going to be a factor in this football game. If Texas can't, be effective with their run fits and stay home and their eye discipline is off, then he's going to burn you. He's more explosive than any of those Arkansas running backs, and I think they ran for 188 against Texas last week. So That's something to watch out for sure. I don't expect Le'Veon Moss to play, but he's definitely the hammer. We'll see what happens there. They've got other running backs, though. Amari Daniels is a really good player. EJ Smith is a really good player. True freshman Jamarion Morrow is another really, really good player who's been making some plays for them over the past few weeks. So it's a deep group. It's a talented group. I think it's the best group in the SEC. And Texas is going to have its hands full. Texas has a really good run defense. Let's not brush that aside. I know they got gashed by Arkansas. Arkansas's gashed everybody, though.
Yeah.
And Texas, discounting sacks in terms of rushing yards against quarterbacks, they're still a top 5 rush defense in the country.
Yeah.
So it'll be a battle. That is for sure.
Let's go with some of their wide receivers that you'll see. Casey Concepcion, number 7 junior wide receiver. He's one of those guys. If you give him space, he's going to make you pay. He's elusive. He's quick, but not the most physical wide receiver. Doesn't have to be. He likes to break big plays. Mario Craver, number 1 sophomore wide receiver. He's an extremely fast player. He gets away from you. He does the same kind of thing. Can get out there and make you pay and get you those yak yards. Also not super physical, but really good wide receiver. Get out there. Then the kid who's stepped up the last couple of weeks, Ashton Bethel Roman, who's number 3 freshman wide receiver, another really fast player. He stepped up here at the end of the season. So these are 3 guys who can use their speed, can use it. Ashton Bethel Roman can kind of just be a flank and just fly downfield and try and beat a DB. The other guys are more yak guys, but Bethel Roman had that huge game a couple weeks ago where he just lit him up. So there's a lot you can pull out of there. They have a dynamic, quick, fast, and the real big point, a wide receiver core that you would like to play man against. You don't really want to give 10-yard cushions and let them get a head running start on you. You'd like to be able to bump them at the line. You'd like to be able to play more physical with these receivers because they are fast, they are quick, they are elusive, they don't get taken down easily, but they can get knocked off routes. They can get bumped around a little bit.
Yes, they can. That is a fact. It's really difficult to do though, because they're so quick and they're so elusive, and they get such a good break off the line. So that both of them have such good releases that it's really hard to get your hands on them in man coverage. So that is probably the biggest advantage that I think Texas A&M has in this game is their receivers versus the Texas A&M secondary. And it's not just those 3 guys either. They got Terry Bussey, who can play a multitude of positions, kind of like Debo Samuel. Like he can go back there at running back. He can flex out to the outside. He can play outside receiver. He can play in the slot. He can take a direct snap, all kinds of different things. Mario Craver is more, I think, explosive downfield than Casey Concepcion, but he's super quick. He can get behind you real easy. Casey Concepcion, once he gets the ball in his hands, he's incredibly difficult to tackle. Both of these guys have their strengths. They use both of them a lot in the screen game and in short routes and get them the ball in space and allow them to do work once they get the ball in their hands rather than send them deep. So it's going to be interesting. This is going to be the biggest challenge passing wise that Texas has faced all year. I have no doubt about that.
No, hey, Center Cowboys, you can't talk about OU's rush defense. We ran for 136 on you. We can't run against tissue paper. 136 we got on you. Trey Wisener ran all over you. Arkansas would run on you. Like you beat them, but Arkansas would run on you still. You beat them, don't worry. They're very beatable. Now the good news is John Mateer would look amazing against Arkansas. But looking over at the defensive side of the ball. By the way, they don't use tight ends a ton. This is not a huge tight end game. We've always talked about tight ends. A&M does not necessarily. They have tight ends. They don't necessarily use them as much as some other teams have against Texas. So maybe they'll try and draw something up because it's worked. But that's why I don't have any tight ends on there. I don't think there's anyone that's
they utilize them enough. I'll say that. So they've got a couple on there. Amari Nyblack, the one from Texas that transferred there last year, is not really a factor. Yeah. He hasn't caught on there, just like he hasn't caught on in Texas. Nate Borkacher, they like to use him in the red zone and across the middle a little bit. They use the speed of the receivers to kind of get the defensive backs to lay off a little bit and open up the middle of the field, and they'll hit those tight ends in the middle of the field sometimes. But they're not super, involved in the game plan from a play-by-play basis. That said, both him and Theo Melanostrom, the guy from, I think he's from Sweden, I want to say, are both really talented guys who can hurt you if you leave them open. So they're not to be discounted.
Over on the defensive side of the ball, someone you definitely have to look out for is Torian York, number 21, the junior linebacker. He has great instincts in the pass rush and the run game. He's a solid tackler. He's not the biggest frame in the world, but it doesn't really matter when you watch him play. The main thing is that if you can get him into coverage, he can get lost in coverage. Everything else he does pretty at an elite level. But if you're able to get him, if you're able to use motion to get him into coverage, that's probably the best way to take away what he can do really well. So you're trying to do that with Torian York. Also rushing the ball, Cassius Howell, number 9, the senior defensive end, 11.5 sacks so far this season. He has all the great pass rush moves. He's got a veritable bag of moves to get there. His burst and energy is off the charts, plays through the entire game, 60 minutes. Some defensive linemen and edges can't do that. He's the type of guy you have to know where he is. And what's funny, I think Texas is going to deal with him the same way A&M deals with Colin Simmons, which is they're going to run his direction. They're going to throw screens his direction, and they are going to try and make him very nervous about pass rushing. And I don't think it's going to stop him one bit from trying to pass rush. But he is someone that you have to be extremely aware of at all times because he will wreck your game.
I'll start with Torian York. He's the best linebacker in the SEC, not named Anthony Hill. He is absolutely incredible. He's super smart. He is probably going to know everything that Texas is doing at every moment of the game. He's a film junkie. I would expect him to be a coach after his very long NFL career is over. He's one of the smartest players I've ever seen on the football field. Last year against Texas, I think he had 3.5 tackles for loss, and he's only gotten bigger and stronger. He's going to find a way to get into that backfield and tackle Texas running backs because Texas ain't going to run the football very well. Yeah. They haven't done it all year, except for against Oklahoma. So he is somebody that, and he also really hates Texas. He hates Texas maybe more than anybody on that team because I think he grew up wanting to go to Texas and Texas didn't recruit him, and I think he took that personally. So he's one of those guys, and he's going to be hunting in this game, that's for sure. Cassius Howell might be the meanest defensive end I've seen in the SEC so far this year. He's physically imposing. His pass rush, repertoire is unbelievable. He's quick. He's agile. He's twitchy. He's fast. He's strong. He can do just about all of it. And I think that the way that they're going to try to attack Texas in the pass rush with him is probably on a lot of stunts and twists and things like that, a lot like Florida and Georgia did, to kind of move him around. And because I think Trevor Gooseby and him one-on-one is a good matchup. I don't think either one of them would have a clear advantage. If they move Cassius Howell on an inside stunt or something like that against a guy like Cole Hudson or Connor Robertson or DJ Campbell or whatever, I think he's going to have a lot more success, and I think they're going to try to do that a lot.
Wouldn't surprise me at all there, man.
Leads the SEC in sacks, by the way.
11.5. That's a lot. Over there in the secondary, you get Will Lee. He's number 4. He's a senior defensive back. Uses size and technique to make up space on plays. He lacks a top-end speed to stay with some wide receivers, but that's basically his main thing. Then you also have Des Ricks, number 2, the sophomore defensive back. He's a guy that really hasn't allowed a lot of throws his way this season. Uses his length and athleticism, so he just kind of covers up his guys, doesn't allow a lot of open guys. So his stats are not necessarily great, but that's because the ball doesn't get thrown his way a lot. But those are your two main guys in the secondary. Matt, what do you know about the secondary of A&M?
Will Lee is a seasoned vet. He's gone up against some of the best wide receivers in the SEC this year, and he's held his own very well. He's very physical. Just a really, really smart ball player. He's going to be in the NFL next year, probably a day 2 pick and one of the more talented guys in the SEC for sure. Des Ricks, at some point, like in terms of corners that I was most excited to see coming out of high school in terms of their ceiling, it was Des Ricks all the way up here, and then the next guy. Like he was one of the most unbelievable high school players I've ever seen at the position. He's been a little bit inconsistent so far at Texas A&M. Some games he'll be unbelievable and he will be impossible to throw on. In other games he'll bust coverages, or he'll let a guy by him, or he'll get beat in a contested catch or something like that. So he's been a little bit up and down. In terms of raw talent and athleticism and physicality, he's really good though. So we'll see which version of Des Rick shows up in this football game.
Yeah, we're hoping for the bad one. Let's get the bad one. Can I order that one? Can I get that ordered? That takes us over to the game plan, Matt. And for Texas, the game plan feels like we've kind of learned what it is offensively, right? We've learned you have to get the ball out of March's hand quick. You cannot have slow developing plays. You cannot leave him back there waiting for things. I think you try to run the ball a little bit early. It's going to be really difficult to do. But you want to have the extension of the running game, the screen passes, short drop-offs, things like that. You're going to have to leave your running back in the back for pass pro a lot sometimes too. So you may not even have that receiver. But I think that short game that Arch has been getting better and better at, and maybe has extended it maybe another couple yards because the offensive line's held a little bit better. I think that's that kind of role that you have to play is, can we throw the ball 5 yards downfield, 10 yards, 15? But we can't be taking the 25, 30-yard shots. They're just too slow developing.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to carry forward the same game plan you've had the last couple of weeks, and that's getting the ball out of Arch's hands quickly. You haven't faced a pass rush like you're about to see with Texas A&M since you played Oklahoma. And what did they do against Oklahoma? Got the ball out of Arch's hands quickly. Had a lot of checkdowns to Trey Wisner and let him beat his guy on the perimeter. This isn't the Oklahoma defense. I think that they're a little bit more susceptible to the run. I think that they're a little bit more susceptible to explosive plays. They can get beat over the top. But let Arch cook. That's your game plan. Protect him as much as you can, but let that dude cook. And, get your receivers into open space quickly. Let them do work once they get the ball in their hands. Continue to move the chains. Stay ahead of schedule. The problem is, and I think that Chip pointed this out at the end of the last show, I believe that on average, Texas A&M's third downs are about 3rd and 8 defensively, which is something you don't want if you're the Texas Longhorns whatsoever. And I think they only allow something like 22% of third downs to be converted against them.
Yeah. Well,
so you have to get
average. If your average third down is 3rd and 8, it becomes a lot harder to pick up third downs.
Yeah, they are fantastic on third down, which is going to be an issue for this Texas team who gets themselves into a lot of third downs. So you have to play disciplined. You can't commit penalties. You can't put yourself behind the sticks. Otherwise, you're going to have a really long night.
Yep. And again, what we've been saying, it's about staying on schedule. And, I get that there's a lot of different ways to do it, but you have to find ways to try and stay on schedule because you don't want to have to be trying to play hero ball because that's when you start to make mistakes. And in a game like this, turnovers are going to be gigantic, huge difference makers. Whoever makes them, if you can force Marcel Reed into them, if you can hit Ruben Owens real hard or one of these receivers and get them to drop the ball, fantastic. But if you lose a turnover margin, whoever loses a turnover margin is going to have a much harder time to win this game. And for Texas, it feels like if you lose a turnover margin, it's almost written in stone at that point that this is not going to go your way. So big one for them.
Yeah. Look, I don't want to be – oh, my cat's in the frame right now. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. I think Texas has a really good shot to win this game. We'll give our picks later. This is the best team you've played all year outside of Ohio State in week 1, which wasn't the same Ohio State that you see right now. So in terms of a complete football team in all phases of the game, in terms of where they are when you're playing them, this is the best team that you've played all season long. You have to play a perfect game in all 3 phases to beat the Texas A&M Aggies because they win games in every way, shape, or form. They win defensive battles. They win shootouts. They win when they have to come from behind. They keep you down when they're ahead big. I've called them unkillable at points this year because they've won games in so many different facets. So if you're going to win, you got to play perfect. That being said, I think Texas is easily the best team that they've played all year. All 7 of their SEC games so far have been of the 7 of the bottom 8 SEC teams in the conference. I think Notre Dame is wildly overrated, but we'll see what happens when they get to the playoff. This is going to be the biggest test of the year for both of these football teams.
Yeah,
and
no, it is. It's really a ton of fun because, again, we've talked about it a bunch. This rivalry hasn't always been 2 good teams. Like, the majority of them is one's much better than the other. And now it feels like, okay, now we're starting to see 2 good teams. And it's been a while since the Aggies have been the better team, but right now they are the better team. They're undefeated, and Texas is going to have to play that really, really good game to get there. Defensively, Matt, against this Texas A&M offense, you have to be able to create some sort of discomfort for Marcel Reed. You just talked about it a little bit earlier, Matt. Marcel Reed is the straw that stirs the drink, and if you let him get a rhythm, especially early in the game, I don't know how you're winning, because you're just talking about a team that's going to be able to consistently move the football for the rest of the game. And it's going to be hard to, once he gets going, it's really hard to knock him back off of that. Sometimes it takes him a little bit longer to get going. So you're going to have to find ways to create pressure against him. I know you're going to be trying to not allow explosive plays over the top, but again, the head of the beast is Marcel Reed. And if you just say, well, we're just going to bend but don't break, and we're going to think our offense can go do that, I don't want to be in that game. I don't know if that's the way that I would think to try and take on this team.
No. You have to make that pocket dirty for Marcel Reed. You have to get him off of his spot, but you also have to contain him.
Yep.
You got to be disciplined in your rushing lanes. Your defensive backs have to be they have to have good eye discipline. I don't think that you can sit 10, 12 yards off in coverage and give these guys a cushion, because I think that they're just going to eat you up once they get the ball in their hands. They're going to make you miss. They're going to turn a 7-yard gain into a 70-yard gain. So you have to play really disciplined football defensively. You have to get in the backfield. You have to do your best to take Marcel Reed out of the football game with his legs, which is really difficult because they run a lot of RPO stuff, and it's really dependent on the way that you react is how that play goes. So they're going to be real difficult to stop. South Carolina was able to do it for 30 minutes. They got in the backfield. They made his life miserable, and he made mistakes, and that's what Texas has to do, but they've got to do it for 60. And that's going to be really difficult to do because nobody's done it to them for 60. Not once.
Now, I will say, if we're up 27 at half, I still feel pretty good about us.
I'd feel better about Texas being up 27 than South Carolina being up 27.
That's what I'll say. I'll say I feel better about that. But I'm with you. You just have to be able to get into that backfield. Let's hit some MVPs and X factors here, Matt, of who we think needs to step up, who needs to play the big games, who has to be the MVPs for this game. What do you see in the offense, Matt? Who needs to be the MVP for Texas in this game?
This is kind of a trick question, I think, because I think Arch Manning needs to be the MVP every single week for Texas to win football games. So I think that they're gonna lean on him to be that MVP, and I think he's going to be that MVP. I think he's going to have another great game. I really believe in the way that he is, matured his game and been able to develop an elite pocket presence and keep his eyes downfield and make tough throws despite the pressure and despite the dirty pockets. He needs to be the one that wins you this football game. He might have to throw for close to 400 again if you're going to win this game. And that's just the unfortunate part of where the Texas offense is right now. It relies completely upon him.
Yeah, and look, I'd like to choose somebody else, but there is one answer. Like, there just is right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it is that in these big moments, in these big games, he has to be the guy that takes his team going forward. He has to spread the ball around. You can't go to one guy against a good team like this. You have to be able to find where those shots were. And he's done it well the last few weeks of finding where the ball needs to go and getting it where it needs to go. And not being, I'm just throwing it to Wingo. I'm just throwing it to my man, Parker Livingstone. I'm just throwing it, you spread the ball around to everybody. I think he has to be that guy. You need Arch Manning to be kind of what everyone was expecting Arch Manning to be last year. I know he's not going to be quite there. It doesn't matter what anybody else does because he's going to win the game. He's not that guy yet because the offense isn't that. But at the same point, you need him to have a big game and not make mistakes, because if he can do that, you'll be in the game. May not win it, but you will be in the game if he does that. And so I think that that's kind of the big point, because it may be a shootout or whatever else, but you got to be able to score points on your end. When you look at the defensive side of the ball, Matt, who is your MVP on the defensive side?
So let me just clarify something real quick.
Yes.
We're saying who we think has to be the MVP to win
Yes.
this game, right?
Yes.
Michael Taft has to be the MVP of this game if they're going to win.
Okay.
He has to plug the leaks in that secondary. He has to make a big play. It's been a really rough couple weeks for him since he's come back from injury, and the Texas secondary has suffered from it. He got his soul snatched against Arkansas on multiple occasions. One, he got trucked by the running back, Washington Jr., and then Talon Green juked him out of his shoes another time. He had a rough day. I hope that he learns from that and he bounces back. I know this game means a lot to him. This is going to be his last game at DKR, so I think that he's going to have to bring the fire and maybe force a turnover, a lot like he did last year. I remember I was sitting there at my brother's hunting lease watching the game, and he said, "It's time for Mookie to make a play." And I was like, "I think you're right. It's time for Mookie to make a play." 2 plays later, he made a pick. We need another situation like that. We need him to get a big time interception and turn the tide of the football game when the Texas A&M's driving.
I'm with you. I think that there's a lot of guys that need to have big games. To me, it's Colin Simmons. Colin Simmons has to be the MVP of this game. If you can go attack the head of the beast, and there's no one who can disrupt more than Colin Simmons. He may be the best DN in college football. He may be the guy. Now, they have a good O-line. They've protected pretty well at points this season, but we saw what happened at South Carolina when you took a really good player and let him cause havoc. Colin Simmons needs to create that havoc. He needs to get back there. He also needs to be in the lanes, not let Marcel Reed squeeze out of these plays. You can't let Ruben Owens just run over the top of you. You can't let those things happen. That's what I'm saying. He has to have a over-the-top game for this Texas team to be able to attack and get Marcel Reed and put themselves in position to get a turnover here or there, to get some stops, get Marcel Reed to throw some errant passes, get in his head a little bit more. You need everybody on that D-line to be a part of it, but if Colin Simmons is getting one-on-one and stopped, I mean, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, he absolutely has to have an impact in this game. He is the most critical part of this defense in terms of getting after the quarterback, obviously. But you need Marcel Reed to be uncomfortable if you're going to win this game, and nobody does that better than Colin Simmons. So we'll see. He's going to have tough matchups because Texas A&M has a really good offensive line. It's probably the best offensive line in the country.
No, that's what I'm saying. They have a really good O-line. They've been coming after teams. They do not allow many people in their backfield. So I understand, but that's what I'm saying is I don't expect anybody else to be Superman on that one. Colin Simmons has to be Superman and try and draw 2 other guys, create matchups, create an opening that one of these linebackers can come in and cause some havoc. I don't need him to have 4 sacks, but if he can create some other sacks or create a pressure out of his gravitational pull, then that's where he makes that huge difference, that whether or not you see it in the stat book, the stat card after the game, he's still the MVP on that defense because of what he's able to cause with his gravitational pull. All right. Good.
Well, just real quick as well. I think he also needs to be super disciplined in the RPO and zone read stuff.
100%.
Because that's kind of what Talon Green ate on this past week, and it's kind of how they stopped Diego Pavia against Vanderbilt a couple weeks ago until the fourth quarter. So that's going to be another real critical part of this.
I agree. 100%. Let's go for the defensive X factor. Who do you have, man?
The defensive X factor, I'm going to say Cade Phillips.
I like that.
True freshman making a start. He's going to have a real big challenge ahead of him with Mario Craver, KC Concepcion, Ashton Bethel Roman, Terry Bussey, whoever's on him, or whoever he's on, I should say. It's going to be a real difficult matchup because they've got 4 or 5 guys that they can put out wide that can make you hurt. So he's going to have to be disciplined. He's going to have to play well. He's probably going to have to make a couple plays because I think that they're going to attack him a lot. I don't think they'll go to Manny Muhammad's side too often, and Cade Phillips is going to have to be the guy that steps up and says, nope, you're not coming this way either.
I like that. I agree, because if he can step up and start, like you're right. If you shore up that secondary more and you start to bring back that defense that we saw earlier in the season, that defense that really starts to be, a top level defense, then it changes everything for what this A&M team was thinking it's going to be. Because right now their game plan is, hey man, we just got to hold Texas like 21 points and we'll win this game easy. So we can put up 35 on this Texas defense right now. If you can hold them under 20, that whole new ball game. And the secondary, the guys are putting in there. Jonah Williams has been playing more recently. They're putting different guys out there that they feel are going to be better equipped to make this work. They haven't been afraid to make changes late in the season. We'll see how they work out. I'll go for my X Factor. I'll go with Leon Galafau. And I'll tell you why. Anthony Hill is coming off an injury. Now, we expect him to play, but he is coming off an injury. He is going to be at least somewhat concerned about that hand, I'm sure, at some point. Once again, the adrenaline of the game, Anthony Hill is still Anthony Hill. He is the dude. But also with Ty Anthony Smith missing the first half, I get Trey Moore's got to be good in there when he's going to be playing at the linebacker position as well. But the ability to be in the passing game, be in the rushing game, be in the run stopping game, if he has a good game in this game, he has a big touchdown last week. Let's see if he can continue that on. If he does, his X factor really changes the impact of this game.
Yeah. He played a really good second half against Arkansas. If he can play like that against Texas A&M, I think he's going to be a real critical part of what Texas does, because you're going to need all 11 to win this game on defense. But if you can get a couple of playmakers, like if Leon Galafau steps up the way that he did against Ohio State early in the season, where he's getting in the backfield, he's making timely plays in pass coverage, he's tackling well, he's fitting his rush lanes, and then it's going to be really hard for Texas A&M to move the football. He's going to be key for sure. Kevin AK, be nice in the comments, please.
We let everybody come and hang out with us. We're good. It's all good. All right, let's go to the offensive X factor. Who do you have for your offensive X factor, Matt?
I've been waffling back and forth on this with a couple different guys. So in true Matt X factor fashion, I'm going to give you two.
Okay.
I'm going to start with Trey Wisner. I think that he needs to be effective enough in the ground game to keep Texas A&M honest, but I think that he also needs to be effective in the check down game, in the passing game, a lot like he was against Oklahoma, where he catches one in the flat and then makes a guy miss and turns it into an explosive play or a first down or something like that. That's going to be key to helping Texas keep on schedule and move the ball down the field.
Yeah, not to mention pass pro.
Yeah, not to mention pass pro. Yeah, that's going to be huge as well. And then the other one
in York, or somebody is crashing down, and Trey Wisner's got to try and just slow them down. Yeah, that's big.
Just for a quarter or a half of a second. Just chip Cassius Howell and move him a little bit off so that Arch Manning has that little bit of extra time.
Yep.
Offensively, the other one offensively for me is Parker Livingston. All four of these receivers need to have an impact in this game, I think, for Texas to be impactful on offense. Livingston's the one that I think is the most clutch, and the one that comes in the biggest moments for Texas in big games. Did it against Ohio State, did it against Mississippi State, did it last week against Arkansas. He can be forgotten about. Yeah. I don't know if it's because he's the lanky white guy on the outside, or if it's because, they're just so concerned with Emmett Mosley and DeAndre Moore and Ryan Wingo. He can leak behind a defense, and he can get open downfield, and Arch needs to be able to see him down there and have a good connection with him in this game to move the chains and get some explosive plays.
So I'm with you. I'd like to pick Trey Wisner because, look, Trey Wisner was great against A&M last year. He was great against OU this year. He has found those big games, and he has been amazing in those games. I'd love to pick him. It's just I can't go out and say, well, he's going to do it again. It's completely just hope and prayer that he is able to go in there and get you 65, 70 yards of rushing and really make them have to be more honest and respect Trey Wisner a little bit more. That would be huge. What I'm going to say is I'm going to cheat a little bit too, Matt. I'm going to pick one, but I'm going to cheat a little bit. Ryan Niblett is who I think needs to have a good game because, again, you said it earlier, Matt. You have to win all three phases. And I think Ryan Niblett, they have a really good punter. He punts the ball really far. sometimes far punts, not great punts. So if you can get him to get the ball and get a big punt return and flip the field in one of these series, or make a big return, or whatever that is, if you're able to make a really good play in the special teams for Ryan Niblett, I think that changes everything. Again, it's all three phases go. So Ryan Niblett, it may be in the offense too. You may have a trick play for him that comes out and he's able to use in space and go make some of these defenders pay. Maybe it's in special teams, but I'll go with Ryan Niblett. I like all of your picks because I think you're dead on, but I'll add in all three phases in Ryan Niblett there.
Yeah, and I think that one of the things that's going to be very underrated about this game coming in, everybody's going to be talking about Colin Simmons and Cassius Howell and Torian York and Anthony Hill and Arch Manning and Marcel Reed and the receivers and all this stuff. This game very well could be won and lost on special teams on both sides.
Yep.
Casey Concepcion is an unbelievable punt returner.
Yep.
He's broken multiple punts for big gains. I think a touchdown or two this year, also in the punt return game. You probably have the two best punt returners in the country in this game, in Ryan Niblett and Casey Concepcion.
Yeah. If it's not them, it's Zachariah Branch, and you've already played him once.
Yeah, so it's going to be critical to get down there in coverage and make sure that you're getting a tackle. If you do punt to him, try not to punt to Casey Concepcion. Just don't. Yeah. It's the same thing with Ryan Niblett. Just don't do it. Like, there's no point. I'd rather have a 38-yard punt with no return than a 45-yard punt that gets returned.
Yep. No, I'm with you on that. And I mean, this is also, we'll say, special teams wise, the kicking game. This could be a field goal game. It very easily could be a field goal game. And we know the early part of South Carolina, what was one of the reasons why they were behind early? 2 missed field goals early in that game. So if one of these teams, because we don't, Mason Shipley is not, a godlike player either that you just go, it's an automatic. But if you say your field goals and having protection on those field goals, all of that, both teams have really good punters. Like the special teams could be a really big factor because both teams have really good ones. And if one has a mental error, if one, one player who's a young guy comes in and picks up a dumb penalty, or if one guy, steps up and makes that big block for a field goal or for a punt, could swing the game. So I'm with you. Special teams is big.
Yeah, Randy Bond, the A&M kicker, had struggled this year. I think he's only hitting 61% of his kicks. He's 11 of 18 for the year. So that could be kind of part of the Texas game plan. I know we don't want to hear bend but don't break, but if you can hold up in your end of the field and force them to kick field goals, you're going to have a better shot in this game regardlh, but especially if you get him to miss one or two.
Yeah, I mean, he's been what 6 for 7 inside of 39. He's been pretty good inside of 39. Outside of that, 5 for 8, 40 to 49, 0 for 3 over 50 plus. So I could imagine in this game there's a good chance they just don't kick any over 40-yard field goals. But if you do hold them and that yardage is big. So just remember that too. You're trying to push them outside of 40 yards. That's where they're going to feel much less confident outside for a field goal is anything over 40-yard field goals. So anything past the 30-yard line really is what? That's a 47-yard field goal from the 30-yard line.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, 28, 29, 27, 28-yard line, something like that.
25 and back, I think you'd feel pretty good.
So that's just one of those things to think about in this game, which leads us to our final score predictions here, Matt. And I've been going back and forth on this. Not sure yet if I may change it this week because it is one of those games. First of all, it's a rivalry game, but we don't know. This rivalry game is not, I don't think it's been, first of all, you're talking about a rivalry that's renewed. Second of all, historically, the better teams won this a lot of times. It's not one that necessarily is strife with upsets, but there have been some. So can Texas come in and do the upset? Also the line on this game. Most people would have probably picked a undefeated A&M team to be more than a 2.5-point favorite over a 3-loss Texas team. But it will tell you, by the way, that we should have the bookies picking the rankings because I feel Texas would be much higher if we had the bookies picking who they think should be in the playoffs. I'll just say that. But what do you think? What's your prediction for what happens in this game, and who comes out on top?
You're gonna make me go first.
I'll go first if you want. I can go first if you want.
No, I mean I already gave a score prediction with BK earlier, so I'll do it again. I may change this though when we do our official scores for the Texas Sports Unfiltered Pick'em thing.
Yes. You reserve the right. We haven't got our injury reports yet. We're not sure. Things could still change.
Right now, I think this game is going to be a shootout. I think that this game is going to be a showcase of elite quarterback play from Arch Manning and Marcel Reed. I think that they're going to go drive for drive, and a lot of points are going to be scored. I think Texas A&M has the slight edge. I'm giving them the 38-35 win.
Okay. I'm not far off from you. I'm really not far off from you. Because it is. I've gone back and forth. 34-31 is my final score. That's what I'm going with. I think Texas could win that. I think A&M could win that.
You said 38-31?
34-31.
34.
Again, field goal game and going back and forth. I think either team could win that game. And in all reality, when I keep looking at it and you keep looking at the matchups and you look how Texas offense has been playing, but the lack of the defense and the back and the forth, and looking at A&M and trying to figure out, like, that's really the big one, is looking at this A&M team, looking at what their stats are, looking at game film of them, looking at everything about them and going, but we don't know if that's real or not. Like, can they do this? Because we've seen them be awful at times, and then we've seen them be great at times. They've looked like the best team in the country, and they've looked like a 500 team, both in games all the time. And Texas did that a lot earlier, but then now it's like we didn't look that good. We looked like a 500 team against Georgia, and then we looked good against Arkansas. We look good, against Vanderbilt. We look good against Oklahoma. We look good. So it kind of goes back and forth for me. If I go with my heart, it's 34-31 Texas. If I go with my brain, it's 34-31 A&M. So I'm going 34-31 A&M right now. It could change. My heart could win over eventually, but it just doesn't feel like this Texas team has ever fully clicked to me, and that's like I don't have that full confidence of, oh, we're going to come out and play a really good game, and that's why I can't pick them.
I mean, I think that's fair. A&M has a 1-point win on the road against Notre Dame. They've got a 3-point win on the road against Arkansas. They've also got a 24-point win on the road against LSU and a 21-point win on the road against Missouri. I think Texas is better than Missouri. I think Texas is better than LSU. I think Texas is better than Arkansas, obviously, because they just beat the tar out of them in Austin. This game could very well go the way that the Notre Dame game goes. Just drive for drive. Team gets up 2 scores. The other team hits back and gets 2 scores. That was a 41-40 game. And the only reason that Texas A&M had a chance to win that football game was because Notre Dame missed the extra point. And they were able to drive down the field and get a score on 4th and goal. So I think it could be very similar to that. But like I said, you got to play perfect. You can't miss that field goal or that extra point. You can't have those holding penalties, all those different things. So it's going to be a hell of a football game, and I can't wait to watch it.
Some other predictions we've got already. Terry Freeman says, got the Aggies beating us 38-31. Can't picture our bend and break defense. I think it's bend, but don't break. Hopefully that's what you meant. Stopping them. But if it's a bend and break, it's a really bad defense. The bend and break defense. Not what anybody wants to have. But there's a 38-31. If it's a field goal game, A&M will lose. Can't make them unless Randy Bond reverts to 2021 kick versus Alabama. He also says, "Oh God, no." AJ says, "Oh God, no. Aggies suck. Texas is going to hang a 50 burger on them." We got an Aggies going to win by 11 here. This is Austin DK. No Aggie coming in our house and push anybody around. They did it the second to last game before they were done. They beat us in Austin. So they can.
Look,
So it is.
Kevin
says, I'll take A&M 2.5. What's with the over 51.5? I think that they do think both defenses can show up. So again, like I have a 61 or 65 point game. So it is like I have it over clearly, but they just believe we can't really go 60 on this game because there's a decent chance the defense will show up.
Take the over.
I like the over.
I'm not a gambling expert. Patrick isn't a gambling expert. Take the over. I think this is going to be a real high-scoring one. And Kevin, Arch has looked good against every defense outside of Kentucky and UTEP. So he looked good against Oklahoma. He looked good against Georgia. He just didn't have any help. He
The
looked
bigger
good against
piece of that
Vanderbilt,
is
who has a good defense.
Yeah, our offensive line has not necessarily looked good against everybody. That's more.
That's such a cop-out bullshit thing to say, that Arch has only looked good against crap defenses. Like, go watch some football, you nerd.
He didn't say only. He did say looked good against crap defense. He didn't say only, though. I think he implied it, but he didn't.
No, I mean, I'm not even talking about Kevin directly in this. Like, I've had so many people in my mentions that have been like, "Oh, he's only done this against bad." Like, no, he's not.
Yeah.
Go watch football.
No, I get
he's a different player than he was.
It is the most frustrating part of having conversations with people who haven't really watched Texas, and then the people who've only watched Texas, and they're both just graphically, just terribly unrealistic expectations on both sides. We're like, Arch hasn't won, like, you only won 3 games. You're like, that doesn't mean he's a bad quarterback. There's plenty of quarterbacks who have done that. Yeah, and they
he played good against Florida, actually.
Yeah, he did. He played
the second half against Ohio State.
Yeah, he played decently in those. They had a hell of a comeback against SC. Yeah, but South Carolina's garbage. You agree with that? Throw your predictions in the chat or the text line. We got one here. He said, "Gotta have stuffing." Final score 45-13 Texas. I love the optimism there. That might be
that one happening.
I don't see it either. I'd love it if it did. It would be great if it did. If we were up 30-3 at halftime, like South Carolina, and then just kept going. That would be the way to do it.
Hey, Kevin, I'm going to tell you again, go watch football, because Arch played really well against Florida. He played really well against Georgia. He had 3 games that you can consider bad this season. I thought he played good in the second half against Ohio State. He played bad against UTEP, and he played against Kentucky. He's played really good football for the most part for the rest of the season. Go watch football.
Yeah, he's played well. Him playing well and them not winning are 2 different things.
Yes.
There's a lot of other things that happen. We'll say all that. All right, we're going to take our first break right here. Throw in your final score predictions there in the chat. We're going to continue on here, get into a little bit more. Matt's going to show you a little bit about what this A&M offense likes to do, so why we have to play the way we got to play. We got to make our picks, get into more and more, and whatever you guys want to talk about here on Open Gym, here on a Tuesday final show of the week edition, Thanksgiving break edition here of Open Gym.
At Sleep Cycle Center, we can treat your sleep apnea in various ways. My story starts 15 years ago with the loss of my father to undiagnosed untreated sleep apnea. And this is a very preventable disease, and treatment options are various. Millions of people across America have sleep apnea, and they fail to realize the early warning signs. Fatigue, daytime sleepiness, and snoring are the most common signs. We'll find the best solution using advanced technology, oral and epigenetic appliances, or CPAP. We offer weight loss, oral surgery, and laser treatments. Schedule your appointment today and get your sleep evaluation.
If you're looking to remodel a kitchen, renovate your bathroom, or maybe add some new life to your outdoor space, reach out to our friends at McCall Custom Homes. They are custom home builders and renovators here in Central Texas, and they've been doing it in Central Texas for more than 40 years. It's a father-son team with a ton of experience, and all of that experience is here in the Austin area. So they know what it takes to turn an Austin area home into something truly, truly special. Right now, our friends at McCall Custom Homes are offering free estimates to TSU listeners, so they can come out to your place, hear your vision, they can tell you what they can do, and then you can go from there. Don't just take my word for it. Check out their website, McCallCustomHomesATX.com. Look at the gallery of jobs they've done over the last 4 decades. And then when you're ready, again, reach out to them and they will come to you. McCallCustomHomesATX.com, or you can call or text Mike McCall directly at 512-633-9580. It's McCall Custom Homes. We build value into your home.
Hi, this is Tom McKay, owner of Audiovisual Consultations, and all of us at Audiovisual would like to wish you and your family a happy holiday season. This time of year can get a little hectic, so we want to remind you to relax, enjoy the season with your family and friends, and give us a call at 512-255-8678 for all of your home entertainment needs. This is my favorite time of the year. I love the holidays, the music, the decorations, the presents, the whole darn thing. So this year I'm asking all you listeners to help make this a special holiday for everyone. Smiles are contagious and free, so let's give them away like the government gives away your money. Let's high-five strangers on the street. Hold the door for people behind us. Tip your servers more than they've ever been tipped before. Give to a charity, or hell, give to a bunch of charities. If someone does a good job, tell them they did a good job. Pat someone on the butt. Sing in public places just because it feels good. And as always, hug your kids until they beg you to stop. Watch some games with your friends and make love to your wife or your husband. I know there's some women listening too. You can still give us a call at 512-255-8678 if you'd like to get some cool electronics. But more importantly, have a great holiday season and a fucking awesome next year.
Welcome back here to Open Gym on Texas Sports Unfiltered. Myself, Patrick Davis, alongside Matt Galatzan of Texas Longhorns on SI. And, of course, you, the third member of Open Gym, 512-222-9328. And, of course, over there on the chat as well, Facebook, Twitch, X, and on YouTube. We are off Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And we will be bringing you pregame from Bucky and BK on Friday here on Texas Sports Unfiltered. So that's what we'll be off. But we'll be off Wednesday and Thursday for the holiday. Temple of Brutus. We are uncensored. It is in the name. So you know, we're not YouTube kids. Don't worry, we're not on YouTube kids. I don't believe. Joe says A&M 31, Texas 23. Hope I'm wrong. Yeah, I mean, it just feels like they're the better team right now. I think the confidence level for the Longhorns is really not at a high level because they haven't been able to string together 3 games in a row where they look like they're really playing good football and something doesn't go wrong, where whether it's the defense, the secondary starting to get leaked through, or, you know, or the offensive line's a sieve or whatever it is. It just feels like we haven't been able to put those games together. So I get it. It is the one I think we all can see where Texas can win this game, that there is a clear path to winning this game. But it's just hard to look at this team right now and go, no, we're better than the undefeated team. Clearly we'll win it. I do think the fact that it's at home is a big difference, because if this was at Kyle Field, it wouldn't be close. We just have not been a good road team this year. So I would not have any real faith of going in there. We did it last year, but we were a much better road team last year. So it'll be interesting to see what they're able to do in this game. They also haven't played back-to-back home games since non-conference. So they haven't been able to have that and get better. Hopefully we'll get the first injury report, I believe, tonight. I believe it's earlier because it's a Friday game. So we will see tonight's, if the team looks pretty healthy, other than, Taff and Anthony Hill maybe having to have some clubs on or whatever they got to put on to protect their hands. But at the end of the day, this is going to be this is what college football is about. It's what rivalry week's about. This is what you want to see. You want to see these really great games at the end of the year. I'd prefer if Texas was a little bit closer to that playoff, because then it could really have some big implications. But this is for Longhorns and for Longhorn fans, a chance to laugh at the Aggies, because we made it to the SEC championship last year. We didn't win it. The Aggies haven't made it there, and we can stop them from doing it again.
For the second straight year, as a matter of fact.
So that is a big selling point.
Yeah. Last year's game, Texas was by far the more experienced team at just about every spot. This year, A&M is by far the more experienced team. They're the more explosive team. I don't think they're necessarily... I think the physicality is pretty even on both sides. It's going to be real interesting, man. I feel better about this game for Texas than I did about the Georgia game, because I think Texas A&M is susceptible to a lot of different things defensively, and I think that their offense can be neutralized if you do it the right way for 4 quarters.
Yep.
I'll show you why that is, like what they like to do here in a second. But Texas is going to have to rally to the football and tackle, and You got to be a real good tackling team. You got to have good eye discipline. You can't get any of these busted coverages that they've had in the last couple of weeks.
All right, man, let's do it. Let's see what you've shown, because I know you've covered this A&M team as well, so you do know this A&M team really well. What do you have for us of some different looks at what A&M likes to do?
Well, this is just kind of a very basic, short idea of what this Texas A&M offense is going to look like on Friday. They like to use a lot of motion. You can see I believe this is Mario Craver. It's one of the receivers. They're all really good, so it doesn't really matter which one's doing it. He's coming in motion this way, and they're going to run a little bit of a play action RPO look. Marcel Reed it's Casey Concepcion. He's usually going to dump it off to this guy over here, which he does there. And you can see this gets them the football in a lot of open space here, and it allows them to cook with their quickness and their speed. And it's a very quick, simple RPO-based offense. Here's another example of it. Mario Craver coming in motion here. You got a wide split down here on the opposite side. They do kind of the same thing here. They do a play action. They dump it off to Mario Craver, and he's able to get some yardage there. Here's another example. The receiver coming on motion this way, and dumping it off to him, getting it to him in space. They're really good downfield blocking as well, and that allows them to spring some big plays as well. But these guys are so fast and so quick that if you give them a little crease, they're going to take a distance, which is what a thing that they really like to do. You're going to see motion a lot from this team. You can see Craver again coming here in motion and drawing some defenders. And what that usually does is they start to wear you down, is open up the middle of the field. And that is when they like to utilize their tight ends. You can see Nate Borkacher right here. He ends up getting a catch for a first down, or for a nice gain here. I believe he turned that into a first down later in the play. But you can also see that this Missouri defense is giving them a lot of cushion, and this is a play that Texas could get beat on. Marcel Reed is capable of making that throw, but he is, rightly or wrongly, a lot of people have called him Marcel One Reed. I don't necessarily agree with that stigma, but he's very quick with his decisions, and he usually makes the right decision. His accuracy can be a little questionable sometimes, depending on the pressure, but you can see here how the offensive line is holding up because he's getting the ball out quick.
Yeah.
And he's able to find these guys in the middle of the field. Here's another example right here. Craver coming in motion again, and they run a little RPO type deal. And Reed there's gonna be more open space in the middle of the field, because when Craver's going in motion and you have Casey Concepcion kind of in a tight alignment right here, they're going to get drawn to that motion, and Casey Concepcion's going to be open in the middle of the field. He's going to be able to make the catch and turn that into a big gain and move the chains. Just really, really good. Really, really good, simple but effective, explosive offense that gets the ball out quick, confuses you with a lot of window dressing, confuses you with the RPO. They run it, they throw it. Marcel Reed keeps it. There's so many different ways they can attack you out of these simple looks that they're really, really difficult to go up against. And that's why I said Texas is going to have to be really disciplined with their eyes. They're going to have to tackle very well in space. They're not going to. I say they're not going to be able to. They have to try to not allow these big spaces in the middle of the field that when these guys get the ball and can get a running start. If you guys remember that play against Georgia where Zachariah Branch was wide open in the middle of the field and then was able to kind of turn back and then run it upfield for an additional 30 yards, A&M's going to do that to you all day if you let them. So you can't let that happen.
No, I'm with you. Appreciate that, Matt. Yeah, it is. It's right. Marcel Reed is able to find those guys. They are guys that want to get the yards after catch, and you just can't allow them to get that amount of space to get going, because again, you talk about Concepcion and being a punt returner. You're turning these guys into punt returners. You're turning them into reading their blocks, reading downfield, and being able to make these steps, be able to make the moves to try and get extra yardage. And they just have too many guys that are really good at that. That's what they've built. So you have to try and take that away a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to take away just about as much as you can, and that's really difficult to do against the Colin Klein style of offense. It's a really good offense, and it's very simple, but it's very effective. And they have so many different playmakers at so many different positions that are explosive that they can come at you in so many different ways. It's gonna be real difficult. This is gonna be the toughest test that Texas has faced all season defensively.
Yep. Now the fun part is you have seen Colin Klein a lot. We talked about this last year with these games, but yeah, you have seen Colin Klein from back in the Big 12 days as well with Kansas State. So you are aware of the defense or the offense that you're going up against. PK knows it very well, but Colin Klein also knows PK's defenses really well. So that matchup is one of two guys who have gone at each other as coordinators for quite some time now, and just at different schools. But he has a really good team around it right now and a lot of explosive playmakers. Here we go. There's another good one. Rodney says 34, Texas 34, A&M 24. I like that. If you hold to A&M to 24 points, you got a really good shot in this game. But that defense is going to have to really try and make them earn first downs. It's going to have to try and take away that run game. You're going to have to get plays to set them off, and you have to get Marcel Reed to throw some incomplete passes to put them off of schedule. Because if they're able to keep just kind of pushing along on you like these teams have done for the past few weeks, that's where we start to get into trouble. And then
to answer the question, Temple of Brutus, I would probably argue that LSU, Auburn are probably the two toughest defenses that they've faced so far this season in terms of pass defense. You could say that in terms of rush defense that Texas is up there. I think this is probably the best front seven that they've gone up against this season. Auburn was able to keep them in pretty much in control. They only allowed 16 points in that game. So Auburn has had a really good defense all year long. That's kind of the thing, is their offense has just been terrible. Thanks, Hugh Freeze. So no, this isn't the toughest defense they faced all year, but this is the best offense I think that they've faced all year, which is saying something considering Texas's offense struggled for a while.
Yeah, no, it is something that the Texas defense needs to step up in this game. And, there's no way that you've played the last few weeks and not seen it. The game film, you're right on track with Michael Taft having to be that leader in the locker room to come back and in practice and everything else get really ready to go. It did feel a little bit, maybe last week they were getting more ready for a A&M game on defense, and maybe the offense didn't look ahead, but maybe the defense did. There are a lot of new guys playing on that defense. You talk about Cade Phillips, you talk about Jonah Williams, those guys are all new. But this is the best team they faced since Notre Dame, maybe better than Notre Dame, depending on where you feel about that. We know Notre Dame's much better now than they were then as well, but so is A&M. A&M's much better than they were at that time.
Yeah, that's why that's a really good point, Patrick, because I think referencing the way that games went in September when you get to November is just, pointless, because these teams mature so much. I mean, this is a completely different Texas team than we saw in September. This is a different Texas A&M team than we saw in September. Notre Dame's different. Ohio State's way different. If you're a good football team, you get better throughout the season. Texas has been a little bit of a Frankenstein's monster in that sense.
Yep, for sure.
The early part of the year, they were carried by their defense, and that was their identity. Now we move on to November, and they're being carried by Arch Manning in the offense, and their defense has been a liability. So it's kind of funny how that works out.
Yeah. Let's get to our picks here, Matt. Let's get to we do our picks every week. We are now tied 32 apiece, Matt. You got to come back on me. I finally got the lead. You came back and got it. So I want to pick some of these other games real quick across the league. We've already given you our final score predictions for Texas. Throw yours in the chat if you'd like to. Hair the dog.
Wait.
Says Texas should play like a beautiful butterfly. And A&M's going to be tight. Lot on the line. Let's go Texas 31-28.
So yeah. What were our our final numbers for this past week, I like to write these down.
You were 4. You know what? I'm taking out the game we weren't picking. You were 4 and 2. I was 3 and 3.
Okay.
All right. Let's start off with one near and dear to you and one that has scared you immensely. The line moved between last night and tonight. It is now Ole Miss favored by 7.5 at Mississippi State. They moved the line over to a full touchdown with 6.5 when I looked last night, but now 7.5 when I looked this morning. Ole Miss at Mississippi State, the Egg Bowl, Matt. This is a big one. The Lane Kiffin decision looming over everything in this game. Mississippi State, who has not been great this season, but has played a lot of teams tough, has been in games, and it is a rivalry game where Mississippi State has ruined Ole Miss's season before. It's at Mississippi State. This is an Ole Miss playoff team if they just win this game.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have in this game?
Well, to say this game scares the crap out of me is putting it lightly, I would say. I don't know how Ole Miss is saying all the right things. They're saying it's not a distraction. They're saying they're just playing this game like it's 1 week for the rest of their season and on and on and on and on. There's no way that it's not a distraction. There's just not. This is the biggest game that Ole Miss has ever played in the history of their program. Ole Miss typically does not play well in big games in the history of their program. I've picked Ole Miss all year long. I've been right almost all year long on Ole Miss in the games that I've picked. I missed the Georgia game by a lot, gross. I'm going to pick Ole Miss to cover.
All right.
Because I just think Mississippi State's defense is really bad. And I think that Ole Miss's offense is really, really good. So I just think that they're going to outscore them. And Hair of the Dog, I think he's gone. I'm trying to will it into existence that he's going to stay. I don't feel real good about it.
I will say for
Lane Kiffin is more. Actually, no. Hold on. Sorry. I want to answer this question from Joe. I think that you can blame it on Lane Kiffin if you want. I think that the real culprit for this whole thing is the new transfer portal rule. Because if they had put this at the end of the football season instead of in the first week of the college football playoff, we wouldn't even be talking about it. But he has to make a decision because the team that is going to hire him if he leaves has to have a coach before the portal opens. Had that not been the case, he would have finished the rest of the season. We wouldn't even be talking about it.
Yeah, I agree. The schedule is just screwed up. The schedule job. Kevin Lee Clark's up for jobs. Clark Lee, sorry.
Yeah,
Clark Lee's up for jobs. He could get the Penn State job. He's up for plenty. But he's not. They're not necessarily looking at him for Florida or for LSU because, well, the reality is also Clark Lee is getting a lot of credit. He's done a lot of good things, but it's when they brought in that offensive coordinator and Tim Beck and Diego Pavia that changed
Jerry
everything.
Kill.
Yeah. So there's a little bit, I think, of trepidation. Jerry Kill's a good one. I have, by the way, I have Ole Miss in this game as well. Mississippi State, after that Texas game, they played well the next week and then got blown out by Georgia. They got blown out by Missouri. I think they are ready. They're going to play this game tough, but they just haven't. I don't think they look quite the same. I think they're somewhat checking out of this season as well.
Yeah, they're trending down for sure.
And so they're trending the wrong direction. If they were still playing competitive, if they played Missouri competitive, then I'd probably say they cover this. But you can't get blown out by a bad Missouri team. This is a no Bo Pribula Missouri team. And they got killed by him. All right, let's go over to another game that's big for Texas. Miami is 6.5-point favorites at Pitt.
After Narduzzi's statement about the Notre Dame game, I'm never picking them to win another game as long as he's coach. I'm taking Miami -6.5.
Wow. So Texas is rooting for Pitt in this game. You don't want Miami to be in front of you. Miami has been the team that just seems to keep stumbling. Pitt got a big win last weekend over Georgia Tech. And it just kind of keeps going back and forth. Is this Miami team for real? Or are they just beating these bad teams? So they lost to SMU. And they lost to Louisville. They beat Florida State team that was ranked because they had 2 big upsets. They beat a Florida State team that was ranked because they had 2 big upsets. Both those teams fell off a little bit more afterwards. So South Florida's still decent, but not, they weren't right then when it was like, oh my God, they're going to pull off all these upsets. I don't necessarily have the same faith in Miami that other teams do. I don't think Pitt's any better, but I think that Carson Beck screws it up at the end of the season. And I'm going to go with Pitt on a missed Aubrey field goal, Bert Auburn field goal.
I will say this. The Pittsburgh quarterback is slinging that thing, dude.
Yeah.
He is wildly impressive. Like he's crazy. So you know what? I'm changing my pick to Pittsburgh.
Oh, come on. Right. I had a good one there. You've never taken our
I'm thinking about that Pitt quarterback. I'm thinking about Carson Beck and Bert Auburn.
I mean, Bert Auburn's not even playing, but we'll say
what's just his Hinchell? Aura being there. Just his aura being in that locker room, they're going to miss field
Mason
goals.
Hinchell?
I'm picking Pitt. Yeah.
Mason Hinchell doesn't look like a quarterback at all, man. All right, let's go to another big one that's in front of Texas. And your man Brooks Austin had a controversial viewpoint on this as well. I saw on Twitter. Vandy at Tennessee. Tennessee is favored by 2.5 at home. I saw your man Brooks Austin posted that if Tennessee beats Vandy, they should be the one arguing for a 3-loss team, not Texas. Which I disagree with if we beat A&M, but that's just me.
Look, Brooks knows ball.
He does. I'm not saying he doesn't.
He's one of my best buds. We're real tight. He wrong. He's wrong. That's not true.
They lost to Georgia. They lost to Alabama. They lost to Oklahoma.
They haven't beaten a ranked team.
Yeah. So Vanderbilt will be their one win. We also beat Vanderbilt. I think it was a bad take, but
yeah. And Texas beat Oklahoma. So
plenty of respect for Brooks, but
yeah,
just saying. I saw that take earlier. I was like, not the take.
This is probably the first time that I've ever disagreed with Brooks. I'll put it that way.
All right. So Vandy at Tennessee, though, 2.5 point favorites for Tennessee at home.
I think Tennessee's going to run all over them. I think Tennessee's going to throw all over them. I think Diego Pavia is going to come in there doing his Heisman poses after throwing a swing pass. I think his mom's going to be doing Heisman poses. I think his brother's going to be talking shit in the stands and getting thrown out of the game. Give me Tennessee to cover. Give me Tennessee to win. Give me Tennessee on all of it.
I love it. Tennessee to take all of it with Vandy acting like they are hot stuff coming on the road. I think that Vandy is going to win this game. I think Vandy will continue to play well. I think Vandy has played well for most of the season. I think they've done a really good job. Diego Pavia is going to do all the things he does. I just don't have a ton of faith in this Tennessee team either. They've lost all the bigger games they've played. I think Vandy is going to be, it could be close, but if you're giving me points or anything, I'm going to take Vandy in this game.
So you got Vandy.
Hey, and Kevin, I didn't say that. I said it's worth
noting. I didn't say that either.
Yeah, we said it's worth noting. So I think Clark Lee's a hell of a coach. I think he's going to get another job and leave Vanderbilt because he understands once Pavia leaves, that team's not going to be as good. That's what I think is true. But I'm not giving him credit. I was simply stating that sometimes when you hire head coaches, you have to look at who their play callers are because that makes a big difference. So that's all my point was. Nothing crazy, Kevin. You don't have to yell at us. You can be civil in this chat. But if you want to hate us, have fun and we'll just keep ignoring you. But I'll just say
that that's not our view. That is a view that has been put out on the internet and one that I don't necessarily agree with.
Yeah.
So maybe you should try listening, Kevin.
Yeah, just worth noting is what I said. Worth noting. Alabama -6.5 at Auburn. This is a Iron Bowl can go either way. Hugh Freeze has been moved out of the way, Matt. His evil influence on this Auburn team is no more. They've been trying to put it back together. They're 1-6 in SEC play. They have not been very good. They lost to Vanderbilt. They lost to Kentucky. The only team they beat is Arkansas. But it's the Iron Bowl.
There's some dark voodoo magic that happens at Jordan Hare during the Iron Bowl, man. There just is. Alabama can't run the football. Ty Simpson has struggled the last couple weeks. Deuce Robinson, Deuce, what's his name? The
Deuce
new
Knight?
quarterback. Deuce Knight is an absolute dude.
Right?
Granted, he did that against Mercer. So who really knows? He's really explosive. I got a weird feeling, man. I'm taking Auburn to cover.
Taking Auburn to cover here. It is the Iron Bowl. There is something to fight for them. Alabama has not looked great, but Ty Simpson has. And I think that I'm going to take – I know Deuce Knight's look good in that. I'm going to take Alabama. I think that they've already had their stumble this season. I think they've already stumbled twice. I don't think they do it again. So I think Bama is able to come out and get a really big win and stay in that playoff picture. They haven't been able to run the football consistently at any point this season, and that's probably going to keep them away from winning a national championship. But I don't think Auburn is the reason that is going to keep them away from winning a national championship.
Yeah. Look, let me I agree with everything you said, Patrick.
Oh, no, I'm with you. It's the Iron Bowl. It's the Iron Bowl.
It's the Iron Bowl. I just want to point out real quick one thing. Over the last 3 weeks against LSU, Oklahoma, and Eastern Illinois. Is that Eastern Illinois? Yeah, Eastern Illinois. Ty Simpson has thrown 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions.
Yeah.
So he struggled.
He struggled a little bit. He has. No, I'm with you. I got you. I think he's better than Auburn, though.
He is.
Let's hit a couple of NFL teams real quick to round out our picks. As we get a couple big games happening on Thursday and Friday. Thursday, Packers at Lions on Thanksgiving at noon. This is a big matchup of 2 teams who have consistently underperformed this season.
Yep.
And Packers, Lions, 2.5 point favor for the Lions at home. What do you think happens here?
Ooh, I think the Lions rebound, and I think that they win this game. Jahmyr Gibbs has been unbelievable. I think he's got like 100 fantasy points for me in the last 2 weeks. So I'm going to keep riding that Jahmyr Gibbs train. I'm picking the Lions.
Yeah, I'm going to go on a short week. I got the Lions as well. I think a short week will help them out. I think they're the more talented team. And the Packers, it's really going to be about, can the Packers just dismantle this Lions defense? And I don't know if they can, because that's kind of been the weaker point at some points. Maybe the offense hasn't flowed all the way there. At Detroit, I think Jared Goff plays a little bit better. Jahmyr Gibbs plays well. They can get it going. So I'll go with the Lions as well in that pick. And our final one on Friday at 2:00 on Prime Video. This was probably not going to be the most watched game in the world because college football will be happening on that Friday. The Bears at the Eagles. Eagles are giving 7 points in this game. The Eagles are, but the Bears are 8-3. The Eagles have not looked great this season. We just saw them lose to the Cowboys. What do you think about this game?
I think this is too many points. I think this is going to be close. I think the Eagles are going to win, but I think it's going to be close. So I'm taking the Bears with the points.
I like that pick. I'm not. I can't. The Eagles just haven't looked really good, and the Bears find ways to win and find ways to be in these games. So 7 points is just too many for me to give up that this Eagles team hasn't really played well. So that does take our picks. We both have Ole Miss covering 7.5. We both have Pitt plus 6.5. We are split on Tennessee and Vanderbilt. Tennessee giving up 2.5 points. You have Tennessee. I have Vanderbilt. We are split on Alabama and Auburn in the Iron Bowl. You have Auburn. I have Bama. Bama's giving up 6.5 points there. We both took the Lions, and we both took the Bears. So 2 games really on the line here. The Iron Bowl and what do they call Vandy, Tennessee? What's that game?
The game that doesn't matter in the SEC most of the year, or most years.
I'm sure it's called something, but yeah, it normally doesn't really matter. So
let's call it the Morgan Wallen throwing the chair off the balcony game.
Let's call it this game. Will go back to not mattering in a year. But I do think. Look, it's
okay. I'm putting this battle timeout.
It eventually comes down to the Tennessee Vanderbilt rivalry. Let's see. Does it not have a name? Does this game not have a name? It doesn't have a name. Come on. You can't have the last game of your season against an in-state team and there's no name for it.
Well, hold on. Let's examine this a little bit. First things first. I don't know that this game is always at the end of the year. Maybe it is. Let's go back and look a couple times. It was last year. Was he okay? So maybe it is. Now let's look at the all-time series.
That's gonna be bad.
Yeah, it is. That's okay. We're gonna. It's 79-33-5 in favor of Tennessee. And it feels like Tennessee got the majority of those wins. Vanderbilt had a bunch of wins in like the mid 2000 or the mid like 2010s. But before that, I don't think Vanderbilt had beaten them since 1982. They won once in 2005. Sorry. So it's not really much of a rivalry, in my opinion.
It's not, but they're trying to make it one. They need to name it something. You got to name it something. A couple other games to mention around college football before we go back to the NFL for a second. A couple other games to mention, though. We do have Georgia versus Georgia Tech, which is an interesting game. SEC slate is done for Georgia, but it can mess up their seeding in the playoffs if they lose this game to Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech needs this game to have any chance to try and squeeze their way back into a playoff that it feels like they're probably not going to be able to get back into. After their loss, they're a 2-loss team now with not a great schedule. But a win over Georgia changes that. Not anybody there that didn't win against anybody good. Haynes King has been the guy. Georgia's 13.5-point favorites in this game. I believe it's at Atlanta, so it's not at Georgia Tech. It is at a neutral site in Atlanta. What percentage chance here, Matt, do you give Georgia Tech in this game?
0%.
0%.
Georgia's going to beat the brakes off of them.
I think Georgia Tech has a shot, but it's like 5%. It's pretty small.
It should be noted, by the way, that the ESPN analytics prediction machine has Texas with a 51.5% chance to win over Texas A&M.
Okay. Let us see. What do they have in this one here? They have Georgia. They have Georgia with an 87% chance of winning this game.
Yeah. 13%. So Patrick is more accurate than I am.
I'm 5% closer. We also get the Ohio State-Michigan matchup on Saturday, Matt. That is a 9.5-point spread for Ohio State right there. It's going to be cold. Michigan has owned Ohio State in the previous history, but Ohio State is clearly the better team. Texas fans actually rooting for Ohio State in this game, as much as it pains me to say that we have to root for Ohio State, because then we have a 7-point loss to the number 1 team in the country, and Michigan is no longer anywhere near where we are in these matchups. What do you think about Ohio State and Michigan, Matt? Is this finally the year that Ryan Day gets the monkey off his back, or does Ryan Day still get death threats after winning a national championship and trying to win a second one?
I think Ryan Day finally gets it done. Gets the monkey off his back. They blow out Michigan in this one.
I feel like I think this game's close at half, but I don't know if I don't know if Michigan can do it.
Let me state one thing for the record. I do not believe that Ohio State will actually win this football game, because I believe that Michigan, kind of like Alabama with Georgia, just has this thing in, like, they're living rent free in Ohio State's head. So it's really hard for me to pick Ohio State. I'm willing this to happen. Because I need Ohio State to win this football game, because I hate Michigan more than almost anybody ever. They're cheaters. They're dirty. They're gross.
I will say this. I can almost guarantee you, no matter what happens, there will be a fight at the end of this game.
Hell yeah.
Like, almost for sure, there will be a fight at the end of this game, because I have no frame in my mind that either one of these teams will win or lose with dignity in class.
Nope.
Because if Ohio State wins, they're going to try and stomp on the logo and do everything to, be cathartic, because they've lost 5 years in a row, and now they're going to pretend like they're the better team, even though they've lost this game 5 years in a row. I mean, they are national champions last year, but they lost this game 5 years in a row. So they're going to try and do all that. And if Michigan wins, then they're going to really try and rub it in. So I do think there will be something awful at the end of this game that everyone's going to hate. Hopefully we don't get the pepper spray again.
I want that.
I want the pepper spray before we have to play Ohio State again.
I want people to continue to realize how gross this game is.
Oh man. Yeah. That's a big one. Any chance Washington upsets Oregon at this point? Washington 5-3 in the Big Ten, 8-3 overall. They are 6.5-point dogs to Oregon. It's at Husky Stadium in Seattle. This is one Oregon has to win. They've been taking care of business for the most part, but do they get caught up after a USC game the week before?
I think Oregon's a lot better at home than they are on the road. Washington's won 3 of the last 4 years. All of those games were close. This game has historically been close for the last 7 years or so. Except for last year, Oregon beat the brakes off of them, but all the other 6 games were close. I'm picking Washington, I think. I don't know. It's like, I don't believe in Oregon necessarily just because they beat USC. I don't really know much about Washington. I know they have a really good quarterback, and the game's at home, and I think that's going to make a difference.
Yeah. Rick, I don't think you're sorry about it. One
Probably not. That's okay.
That's okay. We know we both picked A&M, so
we did.
It's a bit silly to come on this show right now. You guys, you don't even know. What about that LSU-Oklahoma game? Oklahoma favored by 10.5 in this game. Is there any chance LSU... Now, we know LSU could get word before this game that they have their next head coach.
Mm-hmm.
The Egg Bowl's on Friday. The decision is supposed to come Saturday. So they could either get good or bad news before this game. We do not know yet. But it's LSU at Oklahoma. It just feels like it's going to be hard to win at Oklahoma, right? Like if it was at the Swamp, if it's at LSU, if it's there at LSU, it feels like there's a better chance that maybe there's an upset. I don't know how this defense doesn't show up in this game. If the defense shows up, it doesn't really matter what the offense does.
I think that this is going to be the ugliest football game we watch all weekend.
It very well could be.
The defenses are going to control this thing. I think John Mateer is not good. Bottom half quarterback in the SEC. I don't think that LSU has a snowball's chance in hell of moving the football against Oklahoma. So this is probably going to be like a 13-7 game that Oklahoma wins, which is unfortunate for Texas, but it is what it is. LSU is just not it this year, unfortunately. Patrick was right about LSU.
Finally, something. And finally, can Stanford be the funniest team in the country and beat Notre Dame?
No.
They're 32.5-point dogs.
No. They're going to lose 70-7.
Can Andrew Luck step in and play quarterback in this game? Can we
The funniest thing that has ever happened on social media, in my opinion, or at least one of the funniest things that has ever happened, is the Captain Andrew Luck Twitter account, where they basically parody him as a Civil War general, and they write these letters. They have these like letters that he writes back home. Everybody should go find that account. It's absolutely hilarious. But no, Stanford does not have a snowball's chance in hell.
Yeah,
I hope they win, but
let's go Stanford. Let's go Stanford. I don't know what their chant is.
Go Trees.
Go Cardinal.
That's so weird.
I know. Thought they'd know about plurals. See, I thought they were smart. Let's go ahead and take our second break real quick. Come back and wrap it up before the holiday weekend. If you still haven't given us your final score prediction, throw those in the chat. We'd love to hear it. If you told us what your can't miss meal, can't miss side, or can't miss dish at Thanksgiving, what you got going on for Thanksgiving, throw those in for us as well. As we wrap it up, we got about 9 minutes till it's our weekend, Matt. We're about to take our break. So we'll be right back after these messages, wrap up the show with you guys here on a last show of the week on a Tuesday.
Hi, I'm Hayden Covert. Welcome to Covert Buick GMC of Bee Cave, your home in the Hill Country for new and pre-owned Buick and GMC vehicles. With beautiful inventory arriving daily, including the GMC Yukon, Sierra 1500, and Buick Enclave, you'll be certain to find the perfect vehicle at an incredible deal. Our service department is also open for all your vehicle maintenance needs. Visit us today for a test drive. Covert, born and raised in Austin. We are professional grade.
Altstadt Beer, the best beer that you can find all throughout the great state of Texas. Y'all know I've been a fan of Altstadt for years now, and if you try it, I think you will be too. If you've already tried it, you know exactly what I am talking about. Altstadt is brewed locally in Fredericksburg, but available all over the state of Texas. So if you're tuned in Austin, San Antonio, Dallas, Houston, it does not matter. You can find Altstadt at a local grocery store or liquor store. They've got a bunch of different brews, something for every beer drinker out there. The lager, the Kolsch, those are their two flagship beers, both award winners. They are fantastic. The Altstadt Light sacrifices on calories but does not sacrifice on the taste. They've got great pills, tons of great seasonals as well. I'm telling you, one sip and you won't go back to the other beers you've been drinking in the past. It is the official beer of BK. It should be the official beer of you as well. It's Altstadt Beer. No impurities, no regrets.
Hey y'all, I'm Camille McKay.
And I'm Tom McKay, owner of Audiovisual Consultations.
The old man and I are here to give you your summer weather forecast. It's hot.
That's right, kid.
Which means it's time for pool parties, grilling burgers, and taking a beach vacation, right?
Well, I don't know about a vacation, but Audiovisual brings more heat than any tropical destination.
It was worth a shot. I'll settle for some outdoor speakers.
You know, Audiovisual can do a lot more than that. We provide outdoor video screens, audio systems, landscape lighting, even solar shades for your patio to keep the Texas heat at bay.
Well, I'm sold. Let's wrap this up. I'm ready to lounge on a floaty and listen to some smooth jazz.
Well, that sounds wonderful, but some smooth reggae is the way to go this summer.
Good thing we can listen to both with the Sonos sound system. I call dibs on the floaty, though. Peace out.
Kid, wait a second. Give us a call at 512-255-8678 or visit us at avconsultations.com. That's 512-255-8678.
Back here on Open Gym on Texas Sports Unfiltered, wrapping it up here on a Tuesday edition of the show. It's our last of the week. We are off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, giving up the show Friday for pregame with Bucky and BK down there at Schultz Beer Garden. If you want to join them, if you're heading down to the game or heading down to tailgate on Friday, on the text line, if you still got predictions, throw those in. Chan says 27-24 Texas. Says, my thoughts are that Texas has played some very good teams on offense and defense, so we're battle-tested. Think we stand a good chance to win if we're patient and disciplined on all three phases. Play smart, discipline, and make the Aggies work for all their points. No turnovers. He's got them winning. Chan, I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you. I know you're nervous. We're all nervous, but I'm proud of you. I appreciate it. Proud of you. And then we also get Joe saying he's got his food. He's got mashed potato with garlic, chives, butter, and butter, lots of butter, topped with turkey gravy made from the drippings. Like also cranberry sauce with fresh berries, orange juice, and sugar. Very simple. I will say this. I like cranberry sauce out of the can. If it doesn't plop out like that, not interested. I don't want your fancy pants cranberry sauce. I want to act like I'm 7 years old. It's what I want to do. So I don't want your fancy pants adult stuff. Ugh. Who wants to be an adult? Nobody. Kids want to be adults.
Patrick. Not me.
No, kids want to be adults because that's what because they're stupid. I want to be that. I want to be a kid. But, and the mashed potatoes, I know because I sometimes will get mashed potatoes and there's sour cream in the mashed potatoes. They're like, oh, it's flavor. I don't like it. I don't like that either.
Ooh, I like that actually.
I hate sour cream. So there's a lot of things that are made and they have one ingredient that I don't like. And it's like, everything's like, can we just not give Patrick just a meal of just everything's easy. Everything's easy for me. Happy Thanksgiving to all you guys hanging out with us. Mac and cheese for Soul Cream. I don't think we do mac and cheese in mine. I don't think we've ever really done the mac and cheese in mine.
Oh God, I hope we're doing it this year. My mom makes the best mac and cheese ever.
Yeah, I think where we got dressing and potatoes and then some veggies and other stuff like that. I don't think we normally a mac and cheese family, but who knows? I'll have to look. I have an email with everything on it. Who's bringing everything, so I could look. I just, again, I want to be the child in the family. So even though I'm 41 years old, I am the youngest. So I get to. No, I have a niece and nephew. They're the youngest, but I'm the youngest of the adults. So I get to just be like, I'm not taking care of anything. You don't want me to bring anything either. It's going to be just from the store. Not making anything.
Yeah.
You know what I make food for games. I make bar food and food for games is what I make. So I make hamburgers, hot dogs, make some really good wings. Get some wings in there. I queso. I can make a really great queso, but none of that's really Thanksgiving food, man. Nope. So we don't have that one. Appreciate everybody for the Thanksgiving. Let's hit a meathead real quick. We do have one more meathead before we get out of here, Matt, on the weekend. I saw this today. You just hate to see it in Philadelphia, what the Cowboys did to this team. This is from Vic Fangio's availability.
Off in time. Finish. What's that?
When you're shut up. No, when you're
Let the guy finish the answer
Dude,
before we start asking him. They're wasting. We're good. Good.
When it comes to call.
That was Vic Fangio and his availability and two Philadelphia reporters arguing with each other. Shut up. Let him finish his answer. Shut up. No, he's done answering. I'm trying to answer my question now. Oh, man. Just you love to see it, Matt.
There's nothing that drives me more crazy than reporters arguing over who gets to ask a question. It's like, dude, just shut up. If you want to ask your question, speak up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw some other bad ones. I saw the Lane Kiffin where they asked Lane Kiffin 3 different times about the job, and you're like, he's not going to answer it. Stop. The 3 times you have asked him. It's okay. He's not going to answer it. So we saw that one, and then someone asked Lincoln Riley about a sign someone made that said he couldn't win a big game. And he's like, are you serious? Like, why would you ask this question? That is a crazy question to ask a coach. What do you think the answer I'm going to give you is? What do you think you're going to get out of that? One of those things.
I love that they asked it, though. I'll be honest.
It's one of those things where you're just like, that guy's credentials should probably be taken away because he does not understand.
Probably a student reporter, I would guess.
I don't know. Maybe it was somebody from the other team who was really going for him, but it could have been a student. It could have been a website. Who knows? But yes, all the stuff. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us. I do hope everybody has a really great and happy Thanksgiving and a break with your family. And hopefully we all celebrate it with a big Texas win on Friday. But Matt, been fun this short week with you. Hope you are enjoying. I'm sure you're going to have a nice meal before you have to go down to DKR and watch the game. Hopefully you won't be throwing any beer at the TV at DKR either.
I don't think so. I may pop in for the pregame show with Bucky and BK for a little bit. I don't know if that's going to work out or not, but I'm going to try. So everybody keep a lookout for that. It's the best pregame show in Texas sports, Patrick. It really is.
There you go. Then make sure to like and subscribe to the channel because you'll get those alerts when the pregame goes live on Friday afternoon. You got to get those. You got to get that in there. But we do appreciate you hanging out with us on a Tuesday and hanging out with us when you could be hanging out with your family. I appreciate you hanging out with us. We'll be back on Monday, breaking down everything, and hopefully a Texas win, and be watching for the playoffs. And we'll talk more Texas basketball. We'll see what they do tonight at 9:30. But until then, be kind, be safe, have a happy Thanksgiving, keep your underwear clean, and we'll see you right back here on Monday for more from Open Gym.